Tonight, we're serving two delicacies, etouffee and gumbo. Dish one chock full of size, strength, and accuracy, possibly the flavor of the year, Byron Leftwich. Dish two, a Southern staple for 4 years, mixed with speed, scramble, and some cunning, and you have David Garrard. If you like a heaping helping of quarterback stew, then bring your appetite. Marshall, East Carolina, in the GMAC Bowl next. It's Marshall out of the MAC. Tonight, we'll take on East Carolina out of Conference USA. Welcome, everyone, to the GMAC Bowl. This is Ladd Peoples Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. 63 degrees, clear skies. A capacity crowd is expected for 25th ranked Marshall against East Carolina. And join the third member of our broadcast team. That's Dave Ryan. Rhino.
All right, Steve, thanks a lot. Not many college football fans know a whole lot about East Carolina star running back Leonard Henry. Maybe they should with a big season he's had. More than 1,400 yards on the ground rushing. Set a bunch of East Carolina and Conference USA records. But he was a second stringer his first 3 years at ECU. One key reason for his surge this year has been the hiring of strength coach Jim Witten, who implemented a speed program down in Greenville, running 40, 60, and 100-yard dashes at full speed all season long, 3 times a week to help improve Henry's quickness. Combine that with a disciplined diet to keep the weight on, and he's 205 pounds, exactly where they want him. Guys expect Henry to have a big game tonight. Marshall gives up more than 217 yards rushing per game, and Chester Taylor of Toledo in the MAC title game blitzed that herd defense for 188 yards.
All right, Dave, thanks very much. You look at the series history. These teams have not met since 1978. You see what the score was there, but the prior meeting, November 14th, 1970, these two schools will be tied together forever. That was the game. Marshall returned back to West Virginia after losing by 3 to East Carolina in Greenville, and the charter plane that went down, all 75 aboard were killed. Memorial services were also held on the East Carolina campus. As you look at our conditions here tonight, 63 degrees. Not bad for December the 19th.
Feels awfully good, I must confess. I like being in shirt sleeves, man. Feels good.
Marshall has won the toss, and they will receive. Kevin Miller will kick it away for East Carolina. Curtis Jones and Roberto Terrell are back deep for Marshall.
And that in and of itself, I think, is interesting, Steve, that throughout the season, most of the teams that win the toss have been deferring. It just goes to show how much confidence that Bob Pruitt and their offensive coordinator, Ed Zombecker, have in Byron Leftwich.
Marshall in the all-white uniforms. They wear all white or all green only for special occasions. And this is one of them. And the GMAC Bowl underway from Mobile, Alabama. Glad you could be with us on ESPN2. Terrell will just take a knee in the end zone. And Marshall and that amazing offense will take to the field 1st and 10 from their own 20. Byron Leftwich, the quarterback, the junior, and he's sticking around for his senior season.
Pretty good collection of wide receivers there. The 3 of them combined for over 220 catches and more than 3,000 yards. Watts is their speedster. He's the guy they try to have stretch the defense.
1st down and 10 for Marshall from the 20. They open up single step back and they play a one-back offense. Franklin Wallace is that one back. Leftwich will drop back to the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left bottom of the screen, 1 up top. You got to watch for his Darius Watts. Leftwich, great protection all sorts of time. Now it's being chased and has to be taken down. Hit hard by Bernard Williams for a loss of 2 on the play. And the offensive line for Marshall that protected him for so well for so long there. As you look at the left side, Shulo Content. They have been the big key. They've started every single game. There's more movement on the right side in terms of injuries.
Well, this front 3 has not been able to get to the quarterback very often, as witnessed by that first play. But look for Bernard Williams to provide a little bit of a pass rush on the outside.
They'll go 5 wide receivers here on 2nd down and 12. Here's Leftwich. Tried to set up the screen. It's tipped and caught, and it's going to be a touchdown. Ty Hunt, off the deflection, returns it 12 yards for a touchdown. It went off the hands of the Nero Marriott and right to Ty Hunt. How about that for for the senior, way to end his college career.
You see Tim Rose, the defensive coordinator on the sidelines. He has to be very pleased with this little piece of serendipity. And on the part of Hunt, that's a great catch. This is a poor throw on the part of Leftwich. This is actually an easy throw right here, but he throws it behind him. Marriott is on the run, and sometimes you have to be coming parallel to the line of scrimmage. He's just a little bit too far in front, and the result is an interception and a touchdown for the Pirates.
Kevin Miller puts through the extra point. How about that for a start? 57 seconds in. Ty Hunt, a 12-yard interception return for a touchdown, and the Pirates lead 7-0.
Well, again, here's a situation to where Bob Pruitt can't be too terribly worried, because really this is what they're going to do. This is the young man that's got to throw the ball, and he has to overcome this early mistake. But it was either a poor throw on the part of Leftwich, or Marriott took a bad turn coming into the middle for the bubble screen. And I'm beginning to think it was a little bit of the former, because clearly, Steve, on the very first play of the game, you saw Leftwich audibly and doing all these crazy things. The first play of the game, you just have what you have. Watch the ball. You can see right here, he has to step back a little bit, and a ricocheting off his arm right into the arms of Hunt. Certainly a good omen for East Carolina.
East Carolina, they own the first quarter. They continue to get off to fast starts. This season, now with that touchdown, they've now outscored their opposition 119 to 25.
And that's what everybody talks about. They want to get off to a fast start, but as we know well in sports, it's how you finish. And that's where East Carolina has struggled a little bit.
There's Steve Logan. He told us in our conference call when we spoke with him earlier, he said, hey, we've dismantled the opposition early in games, but then find ourselves trying to hang on for a victory. Curtis Jones is taken out of the end zone on that kickoff, and Marshall will try it again.
Now, in the case of Leftwich, he needs to come back here, get some short throws. In the first two plays, East Carolina was in zones both times, and so he needs to get comfortable. He needs to get a rhythm, complete a couple of passes, get his confidence.
Neither of these. Marshall lost the MAC championship game after having a 23-0 lead. Of course, East Carolina dropped their final two games, both at home, blowing double-digit leads in those games. And again, looks like Leftwich changing the play at the line of scrimmage on 1st down and 10, and they'll put it on the ground of Franklin Wallace going to try the right side. Good second and third effort. He's just across the 25, out to the 26, taken down by Anthony Adams. And the rest of that East Carolina defense, Pernell Griffin is the big star for East Carolina. He's in the top 5 in the nation in total tackles.
A lot of pressure on this secondary coming in, as we pointed out, 101st in the nation against the pass. A lot of pressure simply because of the fact you're going to see all sorts of 4 and 5 wide receiver sets.
2nd down and 4. Appears to be a player down on the far side as you get a good look at Pernell.
Steve Content is the player down, offensive lineman. Not a very good start for the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Back in Mobile, Alabama. If you're just joining us, well, you've missed a lot already. Ty Hunt, a 12-yard interception return for a touchdown, giving East Carolina the lead. Marshall, this is their 2nd possession. Again, even after a lengthy delay for an injury, they come up and they're taking plenty of time to get the play off the line of scrimmage. Again, it's Wallace trying the right side. He's very close to a 1st down. Give him 3 on the play. Todd, why is that? It looks like almost confusion or changing the play, the line of scrimmage every single time they come up.
Which I don't think makes a lot of sense. I realize that they give him the autonomy to do that, but also for the sake of continuity and getting some rhythm, call the play in the huddle and let's get going. And again, let's not forget Wallace, nearly 800 yards rushing this year, 5.2 a carry. That's not a bad alternative.
Dave has more on that. Dave?
Steve, you see Byron Leftwich checking at the line. This is all check with me plays. You see the quick sneak. This is a no-huddle offense, Steve. And watching the Toledo game on the game tape this week, we noticed that what Byron Leftwich will do is get the signal from the sideline, the Marshall sideline. He'll then read off the play to his teammates. Now, at the line, he'll do a lot of changing, a lot of audibling. It's not actually a huddle offense, but he'll sometimes milk that play clock all the way down to 2 or 3. Very rarely. Ed Zonbrecker, the offensive coordinator, told me only 3 times this year they had to lay up game penalties. He's got a great command of this offense.
Zonbrecker said he directs his protection very well, and I think that's what you're seeing They go 5 wide receivers on the sneak. He's able to get the first down himself. You see the play clock down to 8. We'll see how low it can go. 3 receivers to his left, bottom of your screen. Leftwood's looking in that direction. Now firing across the middle. And it looked like there was some contact. De Niro Marriott was down the middle of the field, but the pass was nowhere near him.
Good no call. I think his legs got tangled up with the defender. Watch number 13 to your left of your screen. Break to the inside. Oh yeah. Well, I stand corrected. That has to be that's well past 5 yards.
Travis Heath.
And of course, Travis Heath is the one who should have been called for contact down 5 yards. It appeared from my vantage point the legs got tangled up. So much from my vantage.
Second down and 10 after the incompletion. On the draw play, Franklin Wallace breaking tackles across midfield, and he can't break the last one. He rumbles down inside the 40, down to the 38, gain of 29 on the play. Heath had to make the stop.
Of course, one of the advantages when you have a 4 and 5 wide receiver situation is it spreads everybody out. But Wallace actually, there's 2 broken tackles, there's 3, there's a 4th. Number 24 is showing his strength and stiff arm as well as quick feet getting down the field. He runs a lot bigger than his 6 feet, 190-pound frame would indicate.
Wallace will come out, get a breather. He'll be replaced by Brandon Carey. Steve Content was the injured player. He remains out of the lineup, replaced by Luke Sammons at the left guard position.
One of the things that ultimately, putting a caveat to what Dave Ryan was saying, Steve, and that is that one of the things that happens for East Carolina is that they're going to spend an awful lot of time on the field anyway. Their time of possession is 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes less than their opposition. And so that can make it.
Shotgun snap gets away from Leftwich, trying to fall on it. It's picked up by East Carolina. Down the far sideline to the 10. It's Jerome Stewart. Touchdown! A 42-yard fumble return for a touchdown for Jerome Stewart. And the defense is the offense for East Carolina so far.
If you're Steve Logan, you can't have anything any better. Joey Stepp just has an awful snap, and Leftwich just can't get to it. Give credit there where credit is due, and number 26 who's hustling over there for East Carolina, that happens to be Krishawn Gilliam, is the one who separates Leftwich from the ball, enabling the recovery and the subsequent touchdown.
And the extra point from Kevin Miller is good. How do you figure this game out? Byron Leftwich is applauding, trying to get his team back in the game. A couple of mistakes, and it's 14-0 East Carolina.
Automotive on Demand. Check your local listings.
Steve Levy, Todd Christensen, Dave Ryan. This is the GMAC Bowl on ESPN2. There is David Garrard, the record setter, making his 39th consecutive start at quarterback for East Carolina.
Backs and receivers, you already documented how well Leonard Henry has done this year. If they have a go-to guy, it would probably be number 1, Richard Alston.
First down and 10. Their first offensive play comes with 8:57 left in the first quarter. And they hand it off, and what a hit. Leonard Henry, the running back, absorbed a big hit there by Chris Crocker after the gain of 6. And the East Carolina offensive line looks like this. Brian Remp, the left tackle, he's the star of this group.
Defensive line has to get it going, particularly against the run. They have really struggled, but the big man for them has been All-MAC performer number 34, Ralph Street.
Second down and 4. 3 receivers to Garrard's left. They'll go play action and throw it out into the flat. And there's Terrence Copper. And Copper will have enough for the first down for East Carolina after the gain of 8.
Marshall has been put in an unenviable position, Steve, and that is to have to be able to stop these people. And of course, the linebacker position, number 5, Max Heath, their 150 tackle guy, is their leader in the interior.
And the secondary, Yancey Satterwhite, 3 interceptions to lead the way. Crocker, though, had that huge hit there. Henry's still feeling that. 4 receivers in the game for East Carolina.
Well, as I said, you know, they've been so dependent on their offense. You know, their defense does give up 26 points a game, and if those first 2 plays are any indication, it would seem to me, you see the young man who put the big hit on Henry earlier, and that's Crocker. We need a few more of those big hits because, at least early on, Steve, East Carolina just seems to. What's the cliched phrase? Want it more. That's it. They want it more.
They're trying to. We've had problems with the clock here. I believe it's supposed to be 8:15 left in this first quarter. There you see. They set up the clock. And now they wind it down again.
It's 12. Never mind.
You get the idea. Here's Garrard on 1st down and 10. And Henry is hit and hit hard again. That time Alonzo Jones put the stick on him in the backfield for the loss of 4.
Well, they came with a blitz. They came with an all-out run blitz, and they guessed right there on 1st down. Take a look at all the white shirts that are going to be coming. Bam, bam, here we come. Guess what? We're there. No, not enough people to block the white shirts, and as a result, guessing right as a Marshall defense, Larry Davis, senior linebacker. That 6'2", 200 pounds is fairly common out at the collegiate level. They want outside linebackers that can run and cover as well as blitz.
2nd down and 14 now. This time they play action to Henry. Garrard buys himself some time. Able to set up and throw and complete to Arnie Powell. And he's got the 1st down. And he's out to the 36-yard line. Gain of 16 before Davis brought him down.
The misdirection is not necessarily what fooled Marshall, but Powell does a great job of setting down in the middle of the field. Watch right here. You're going to see number 5 get to the middle and then just sit down. Watch him just sit down. Instead of keep running with his quarterback, he sits down. And as a result, Yates is sitting there saying, hey, you know what? I know this play. I'm going to run with him. But instead, as a result of Powell sitting down in the middle, he gets the completion 1st down.
Well, Powell got the 1st down. He lost his shoe. And he's out for a breather. He'll work on that. Get back in the game. They option. And Garrard will keep it himself. And now he pitches it back and leveling it to Richard Alston down the sideline. Down to the 8-yard line.
We mentioned at the top of the show, Steve, that one of the things that can be very effective for East Carolina is Garrard's ability to run the option. He has passed the line of scrimmage. He's got a 4 or 5 yard gain. Great athletic ability. He sees that he's about to go down, pitches to Alston. Great blocking downfield. And as a result now, here are the Pirates knocking on the door inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal.
That's their unconventional option play, right?
It is. But you know what? You've seen Eric Crouch do it a bunch of times. You've seen Randall L. do it a bunch of times. Those are 190-pound quick guys. This guy's 250.
The play goes for 27 yards. 1st down and goal. It's Carolina looking to blow this baby open. Here's Garrard, the option, keeping it. Touchdown. And he goes into the end zone untouched. Made it look easy. The 9-yard score for Garrard.
Ralph Street, the defensive end, had to make a decision. Am I going to go after the quarterback or am I going to go after the back? He opts to go after the back. As a result, there's no run support. Watch right here. Watch Street, number 34. He decides to go after Henry. There's nobody that comes up and takes Garrard, and as a result, he goes into the end zone untouched.
7th rushing touchdown this season for Garrard, who is their 3rd leading rusher on the team. And Kevin Miller having a field day. He's already got 3 extra points.
Lives here.
Remember when you were a little kid and you had that salt? Remember the little girl? Remember the thing on the side when it rains, it pours? The snap is perfect, but Curtis Head just can't come up with it. And whoop, 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 whoop. He does a nice job, as I pointed out. And, of course, you're saying at home, how come that wasn't roughing the punter? Well, of course, once the ball is muffed, he is a runner, and you can go after him. And that's exactly what Antoine Yelverton did.
Curtis Head's grandfather, Elmo, played basketball at Kentucky. Right off row. How about that for family ties? On 1st down and 10. Here's Garrard. Handing off to Leonard Henry. Trying the right sideline. Cross midfield. Inside the 45 after the gain of 11. This is the GMAC Bowl from hospitable Mobile, Alabama. 25th ranked Marshall taking on East Carolina. A couple of explosive offenses. You know, we really haven't seen the explosive offense out of East Carolina either, despite the fact they have 21 points.
Well, watch number 22, and I say for this reason. Steve, you realize that over 1,400 yards this guy has had. His biggest carry game has been 26. He's averaged less than 20 carries per game. The guy's averaging almost 80 yards a carry. Stop.
5 carries for 22 yards so far today. And on the option there, Terrence Copper out to the 41-yard line. Talking about the lack of the explosive offense, 2 of the 3 touchdowns for East Carolina have been defensive touchdowns, and Garrard just 28 yards of total offense to this point, and again, he's up 21-0.
Well, you know how you want to promote those games, Steve, where you have the irresistible force, the immovable object?
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah, but yet in this case, the offense for Marshall, the defense for East Carolina is weakest at that point, which is pass, and vice versa. East Carolina's great running the ball, and run defense they've been so poor.
Arnie Powell was in motion. Phoenix Evans might have jumped the left tackle, who was the backup for Brian Rimpf. We'll see.
Line of step, false start, offense, 5 yards, still second down.
William Lamonier, the referee out of the Big Ten, a Big Ten crew.
Well, you know, Steve, we did talk about the fact that you've got a quarter ton of quarterbacks in this game, 500 pounds combined. They're hanging in there despite the fact they've got people all over them. Take a look at Garrard here. He just refuses to go down, and as I said, that's why the fisticuffs ensued as we go down to Dave Ryan.
All right, we watch this play first. We'll finish up about Dave Garrard and some weight issues, Steve.
Wow. Arnie Powell is the receiver, and he was crushed. We heard the good pop in the booth. Dave, you probably heard it a lot better on the field.
Yeah, no question here on the sidelines. So Garrard's listed at 6'1", 249. When he was a senior in high school, he worked as a pizza delivery guy. There's only one problem. His boss let David make the pizzas. He prepared one for his customer and one for himself. He ate so much pizza, he ballooned up to 270 pounds when he got to campus in Greenville. Much more disciplined diet now, down to that svelte 249.
That's great, Dave. Thanks. Here's Garrard getting it out, and wide open is Richard Alston. All sorts of running room. Cuts up the middle now, and he's inside the 10-yard line. Tarpley finally brought him down after the gain of 32, and I do mean wide open.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there was a defensive breakdown. Take a look at the blitzes. The blitzes are going to come, and all of a sudden here, there's nobody on him. If you're going to blitz, somebody has to come over and take. The cornerback comes. Look at him come out of the backfield. There's nobody left. Absolutely nobody. Terrible job on the part of the defense for Marshall, but up to this point, Steve, has actually been playing well.
First down and goal for East Carolina. Garrard will keep it on the option and pick up 2 on the play. Marion Hicks brought him down.
That was not the right time for a mental breakdown on the part of the secondary for Marshall. We mentioned the fact that Garrard was going to run the option. Steve, I think at this point, with 10.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, he's run it at least a half dozen times, so clearly that was an integral part of their arsenal.
Second and goal. Lots of room to the right side for Garrard, but he hands it off as they try the left side with Leonard Henry. No gain on the play.
Marshall really needs to force a field goal attempt here, Steve.
East Carolina, brilliant inside the red zone in terms of points. Look at that, 37 to 38. Interesting to note, the one time they didn't get points in the red zone, they did it themselves. They let the clock run out in a blowout win over Army. Otherwise, they would have been perfect. 3 tight ends here on 3rd down and goal from the 7. And Garrard on the option, waiting for the last second, pitches to Richard Alston. He's knocked out of bounds, loss of 1 on the play. Yancey Satterwhite made the hit. We'll get a field goal look from East Carolina.
Well, clearly at this point, Marshall is not fooled anymore by this particular play. Look at the support from the secondary. Can't decide, and at the last minute he throws it, but there are a number of white shirts back there, and of course they did exactly what we talked about they needed to do, and that is force a field goal attempt.
Kevin Miller on to attempt a 25-yard field goal. He's hit his last 7 in a row. Marshall got a pretty good push there, but not a problem for Miller, who is good from 25. 9:04 to play in the first half. It's all East Carolina. And this party-like atmosphere here in Mobile, but not for Marshall.
Coordinator for East Carolina has been outstanding throughout his career, and always a great interview for us. Impressive not only with his animation but his candor. And I thought it interesting as you take a look at his resume. When we asked him the question about Pernell Griffin, you know, if he was the best linebacker, he said, well, you know, when I was coaching at St. Augustine's back in '67, and he was talking about some kid in high school, just like a great coach. He knew about the kid in detail. Great guy. And by the way, I worked out with his two kids at the Y, his two sons.
Who was putting up more weight, them or you?
Come on, get out of here.
They were, right?
Nah.
Marriott on the reception. Gain of 4 on that play. You know, you mentioned Rose talking about Griffin and what he said about him with all the players he has coached. He said Griffin is the best instinctive football player he's ever been around. I mean, what a statement that is.
That's high praise. That's high praise, because at the end of the day, if you're playing middle linebacker, that is what it's about. It's not about how much you bench and what you run the 40 in. Do you make tackles? Do you plug holes? Do you make the people around you better? And he does.
2nd down and 6. It's Dinero again. Dinero Marriott on the reception, gain of 2. Marriott has certainly benefited by the fact that Darius Watts and Josh Davis have put up such great numbers that most of the defensive coverage might go to those two, leaving Marriott free to make his catches.
And he has really come on late in the season, of course, as you pointed out in the game against Toledo. He did drop one earlier, but one great thing about this offense is you will get another shot at it if you do drop one.
Especially when you're down 24-0. This is 3rd down and 5 now. 5 receivers in. 3 to the left of Byron Leftwich.
Coming with the blitz.
Here they come, feels the pressure and throws, and Watts could not hang on. Had good coverage on the play from Jerome Stewart, but it looked like Watts could have had that one.
Well, Steve, this is going to be 4-down territory here at the 35-yard line, I'm guessing, and you're right. Watts really needed to catch that ball. Leftwich has been betrayed a lot of times by his receivers here in the first half, Steve, not just on the drop balls, but on some poorly run routes, and of course the ricochet early on off of Marriott's arm, which, you know, started this downfall.
4th and 5 and going for it. 12 of 20 during the regular season for Marshall on 4th down conversions. They do not blitz, they rush just 3. And that's why Leftwich has all sorts of time to survey the field and find Watts for the touchdown. Darius Watts, the leader in the nation among receivers and touchdown catches, will add to it. A 35-yarder from Byron Leftwich, and Marshall is on the board.
Jerome Stewart in coverage just let him get behind it, because usually, Steve, in that situation where you just have to get a 1st down, usually what you do is you're going to hover over the 5, 6, 8-yard area. They're in a pretty good coverage up to that point, but right there he breaks down a little bit. Watts goes long, trusts the great arm of number 7.
They're going for 2. It's Trod Buggs, and he gets there on the 2-point conversion for Marshall.
Well, that shocked the heck out of me for this reason. 6:35 remaining in that half. Seems a little early to go for 2, but evidently Pruitt decided, you know what, we've got it going. Let's see if we can get a little more momentum, and psychologically that has to bode well for the Thundering Herd, because this is the best news, or really the only piece of good news they've had here in the first half. Take a look, everybody's anticipating. It's the old swinging gate. Laterals the ball, has his people on the side, breaks a tackle in the backfield, and Buggs breaks 2 or 3 tackles and gets in for the 2-point conversion. And now, as a result of that 2-point conversion, they're 2 scores away.
Back in Mobile, Curtis Head is on to kick. They go for the 2-point conversion. Todd, want to get crazy and maybe an onside kick here.
Well, he's already proven to us as a punter that he can kick left-footed. But you know what, Steve? The one part of the game, strange enough, special teams have struggled. We know the offense has been very poor, but really, I don't think the defense has played that poorly. 2 defensive touchdowns, and the 2 scores that they got were a result of terrific field position. So really, the best part of the game right now for Marshall is the defense. I think he should kick it deep.
Marvin Towns is deep for East Carolina. All-Conference USA freshman team as a kick returner. but he won't get a chance this time around. Let's go down to Dave Ryan.
Okay, we're joined by John Finnegan. He's the chairman of GMAC. Third year your organization has been involved with this bowl game. How's it progressed from year 1 to year 3?
Well, Dave, the great thing is we were able to get in on the ground floor of this game. It's expanded every year. The city of Mobile is so enthusiastic. And this year we're really to sponsor the game, so it's been terrific. I mean, we've grown with the bowl, and the bowl is a great event.
How have several youth programs in this area been connected to your bowl game?
Well, the great thing about the event is that the byproduct of it is all the bowl does for youth, inner city youth. First, they have the Camp Focus for fatherless children. They have a great reading program. They have great corporate scholarship program, sponsors. So it's terrific overall. It's a win-win for everyone involved.
Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Dave, thanks.
All right, Dave, thanks. Gerard was airing it out for Richard Alston, and saw flags on the play.
And if Crocker somehow could have looked back soon enough, he knows that he's beat to the post. But Gerard threw the kind of pop-up that you used to have when you were playing 500 at home. Remember that when you used to catch the ball, try to, there are 2 penalties. There's going to be holding and interference, and of course they'll take the latter because that's going to be 15 yards. But Crocker didn't know that. I don't know if the wind caught it or maybe it slipped out of his hand, but that was one of those that at home his buddies would be going quack, quack, quack.
Defensive pass interference, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Here's Crocker with his back turned. Now the ball is up in the air and he's not sure. And so rather than let him have a big gain, he pulls on the shoulder. You know what? And you say to yourself, that's blatant, but it's only 15 yards instead of the 40-yard yards that it would have been. Stanford reverse.
And it's Richard Alston with running room. Across the 45, gets a nice block to the 40. Down to the 30, that's showing you the wheels down the sideline. And he is dragged down at the 7-yard line by Terrence Tarpley. Alston can motor. Gain of 58 on the play.
Well, it's a great job of this, Steve. They've been running the option forever. Now the receiver's going to come around and get the pitch. Now watch at the bottom of your screen and tell me if you think this might be holding. They're able to get away with one here. But it's a great call. Great call. Watch the defender right here. Looks like he's got a hold of some. But as they say, as Ray Chester used to tell me, you get away with it, it's a good play. And as you pointed out, Alston's got some wheels.
First and goal from the 7 now. East Carolina looking to add to their lead. And they will. Leonard Henry, wow, making it look easy. Gerard went in untouched earlier. There's Henry standing up with a 7-yard touchdown right through the Marshall defense.
And remember inside the 20 early on, we talked about how with that, they kept running the option over and over again, and what did it do? Now they have the misdirection, and look at the shirts. Look at this. I dare say that Steve Levy could score on now. All right, he's been tackled to 2, but still, that was a really big hole. And Henry marches in completely untouched.
Here is Kevin Miller on the extra point. Puts it through. They go 2 plays, 80 yards for the touchdown. For Leonard Henry, his 17th rushing touchdown of the season.
Give credit where credit's due, Steve. Doug White, Corey Schmidt, and Brandon Pope are the ones that create that cavern, that veritable chasm for Henry to run through. But again, it is set up, and we mentioned earlier, Steve, it appeared that Marshall had finally figured out the option, right? They finally figured it out, kept stuffing it, and the one time they go with the reverse, it's a huge play. Alston's had a couple of big plays.
Dave talked to the GMAC people here. The ranked teams are not going to want to come back to this fall. When its first year, East Carolina was actually ranked number 20. They lost to TCU. Last year, TCU came here. They were ranked 13th. They lost to Southern Miss. Here, Marshall comes in ranked 25th, and they find themselves trailing 31-8 with 6 minutes left in the first half. Wonder if Dave can talk with Bob Pruitt again. I'd like to hear what he has to say now.
I don't think well, what can he say?
One and done, huh?
Yep.
Kevin Miller has been active. Those extra points and field goal, and now kicks it away. A very, very short kick that bounced to the 20-yard line. Curtis Jones had all sorts of problems with it. Loose football, and East Carolina has it. What else could go wrong tonight for Marshall?
Well, see, Kevin Miller up to this point, Steve, had been kicking nothing but touchbacks. So finally, you're a little bit deeper than you normally are, and as a result, you're lulled to sleep. You don't think you're going to get an opportunity, but this is a poor job by Jones. Okay, now on the hop, just catch it. Just catch it. Just catch it in your breadbasket. Now he's looking downfield. He's concerned about getting hit, and the result is that Heath is able to get on top of the ball before Jones can recover. Once again, everything going the way of the Pirates. And of course, the kicker says, yeah, okay, I didn't get the touchback, but he did get a turnover.
Here's Garrard off play action. The option pitch to the right side. And it's Richard Alston. Stay on his feet as long as he can. Very close to another first down. But Travis Heath able to recover on that fumbled kickoff.
Steve, inevitably when you match up teams from different conferences, unless, you know, it's say the Big 12 or it's the Pac-10 or teams that you know, sometimes when you get together, you're really not sure about the level of competition. Clearly, in this case, it would seem the Conference USA has put together a little bit more of a tougher group, and I say that only because of what I'm seeing on the field. That's not to denigrate those in the MAC. It's simply the fact that at this point, it seems that East Carolina has had a tougher road to hoe with some of those teams.
That was Leonard Henry, the ball carrier. As you look at the bowl breakdown by conference, there you see Conference USA sending 4, and the MAC sending 2.
Now, this is not an exact science by any stretch, but clearly at this point, I'm sure that the people in Conference USA are saying to themselves,
we were wondering about North Texas.
North Texas Sun Belt.
They're the one team. On first and goal now. Here's Garrard going to keep it, and again, this time at least he was touched, but it made it look relatively easy. A 6-yard touchdown for East Carolina. Second rushing touchdown of the night for David Garrard, and it's all Pirates.
Well, it's a good thing that Dave Ryan and I got together and predicted that East Carolina have 38 points before halftime. This is, you can't predict now in college football. I don't think you can. I think parity is such a reality. Sometimes the information you get on paper is useless. Who'd have figured this?
Puts it through. You couldn't. 14 points in a minute 13 for East Carolina. We documented earlier their quick strike offense. Short scoring drives, not taking much time off the clock. And here they are blowing out the Thundering Herd 38-8.
Lives here.
Early in the second half, the Thundering Herd cut the Pirate lead to 38-15 when Ralph Street returned a David Garrard interception 26 yards for a touchdown. 12 minutes 55 seconds now remain in the third quarter right here on ESPN Classic.
The moon over Mobile. Well, yesterday we taped a little advancer to preview this game for ESPN. Normally we get it done in one take, but yesterday required 2.
Dave Garrard is the quarterback for East Carolina, but on the other half of this quarter ton is Byron Leftwich, the quarterback for Marshall, having arguably the greatest season in the history of the MAC. The first quarterback ever to throw for over 4,000 yards and with an incredible percentage of touchdown to interception. That is 38 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. They had 4 quarterbacks in New York for the Heisman, but it could be argued that this young man is the best pro prospect of any quarterback in the collegiate scene today. Now that's the passing, and there's going to be a lot of this going on. But for more on running in East Carolina, let's go to Dave Ryan. Byron? Oh, man. Man.
Gain of 2 on that play. You know, every time we make fun of Dave's height, and we've done it a couple, I get a nasty phone call from his wife.
Almost 5'9". 5'9.5" in shoes, and that pass was too tall. I don't think Todd could have caught that. He's 6'3".
You should have laid out, Dave, and ruined that fancy suit you were wearing yesterday.
No one could have had that ball.
Come on, where's the hops? I dived for that one, but that's me. Second down and 8. Byron was very gracious with his time. Again, it only took us 2 takes. Normally we get it right the first time. Yeah, right.
He only called Dave Shorty once.
Here's Leftwich completing a beauty of a pass, and Darius Watts truly now checks into the game. He's down to the 10-yard line. Leftwich doing what he couldn't do to Dave Ryan. Hits Watts in the numbers. 54-yard gain.
And remember, Watts was the one who struggled. Remember at the end of the first half when he dropped that slant route. This is a deep slant. What a gun. Boy, right between three defenders. Watts breaks a tackle and gets some yak down to the 10-yard line. Marshall has momentum on their side.
First down and goal. Leftwich from the gun. Almost had some problems with that snap. And he takes off, trying the left side. Oh, my God. The end zone, and he gets there.
I'm telling you. Steve, you know what? Dave Ryan must have woke him up. It must have been the thing with the miss. I'm telling you. One of the things here is Franklin Wallace leads out front. He's the one that knocks Stewart out of the way. But I tell you what, I was waiting for a delay of game. I mean, Leftwich is no speedster. But clearly the defense wasn't prepared for number 7 to have a quarterback run on his own. This is a run all the way. There's no throw. Great job by Wallace out front. He's able to fall on top of the pylon. Steve, it appears we got ourselves a ball game.
There's Curtis Head on for the extra point. And he blasts it through the upright. 12:23 to go in the third quarter. 14 points in just over 2 minutes for Marshall. And here come the Thundering Herd.
Right back in this GMAC Bowl with East Carolina, joined live on the sideline by Thundering Herd head coach Bob Pruitt. We understand at halftime you weren't exactly pleased with your guys. What did you tell them to light the fire on them, Bob?
Well, we just talked about making plays and adversity and not giving up. Never quit trying, never try quitting, and our guys are responding. I'm proud of them so far. Hope we can get back in it.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, David, I think they're already back in it at 38-22. A 30-point game at halftime, a 16-point game now. And another touchback, Marvin Towns, and East Carolina will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 20. The start of the first half very similar to the way the start of the second half, Tom.
And eerily so. I mean, it really is. Look at that, only a 10-second difference. And, of course, you know what East Carolina did in the first half. Now, whether or not Marshall can follow up after those two quick scores remains to be seen. The onus clearly now is on the shoulders of Garrard and the Pirate offense.
Again, 1st and 10 from their own 20. Garrard will hand it off to Leonard Henry, try to get him going. And he is going. Gain of 9 on the play. Good second effort there by Leonard Henry. 6th in the nation in rushing, averaging 7.8 yards per carry. That's 3rd best in the nation.
Well, he's been outstanding, Steve. This is a young man who's averaged 130 yards per game. And the thing that I don't understand is I asked the coach, I said, is he small or you don't want to give him extra carries? They said they don't. He averages less than 20 per game, which is amazing for a guy that's rushed for as many yards as he has.
Henry again, the ball carrier, this time for 5 yards. He was the first East Carolina running back to go over 1,000 yards. And we were well over 1,400 plus yards. But the last East Carolina back to rush for 1,000 yards in a season, Scott Harley in 96.
11 carries for 53 yards up to this point, Steve. And I'm thinking that this is the opportunity now. Hey, ride the back at number 22.
2nd down and 5. They send Richard Alston in motion, top of your screen. And they'll do this that, give it to Henry. Ralph Street will stop after a gain of 4.
Steve, now that's 3 straight carries in about 15 yards. That's what you have to do. And let's not forget at the top of the show something that we pointed out. The Marshall defense against the run now. 106th in the nation, giving up 218 yards per game. This is what Steve Logan, the offensive cognoscenti, have to do. Let's put the ball in the hands of number 22 and number 9 every now and then on that option.
Copper in motion this time as Garrard drops the pass. And he's throwing underneath and able to hook up with Derek Collier for a gain of 8. Collier's first catch of the afternoon. Tomorrow night, the 2001 bowl season continues. Pittsburgh certainly hopes to have Antonio Bryant in the lineup as they take on Phillip Rivers and the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. The 2001 Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl on ESPN.
Sure is a fun trip in Orlando. Lots of things to see.
Disney World. Handoff. Henry breaking tackles. And he's down to the 42-yard line. Michael Owens made the stop on a gain of 12.
Now conversely, Kevin Kelly, the defensive coordinator for Marshall, now just has to jam people in the box. Just jam people in the box and say, okay, if Gerard can beat me one-on-one up top, he beats me. But you can't afford to let them do what they're doing here, taking time off the clock, and Henry's just taking chunks of yardage.
Again, it's Henry. Slow developing draw play out of the 40. I guess that's kind of redundant. Slow developing draw play, but a draw nonetheless. Gain of 1 on the play.
Alonzo Jones makes a nice tackle. I say a nice tackle because if he doesn't make the tackle, that counter tray, which has been so popular ever since the days of the Redskins and the Hogs, would have had a first down.
2nd down and 8. Ball spotted at the 40. Under 10 to go here in the 3rd quarter. We've got ourselves a ball game from Mobile. Here's Garrard off play action. Rush rolls downfield sideline. Had Alston, and he couldn't pull it down.
Had a little pressure, however. Jonathan Goddard was the man that was in his face, and he threw off the back foot and just couldn't quite get his feet planted to deliver the ball on the money. See right there, Alston goes up, but that's a little bit long for him. Still, if you're the quarterback, you're saying, boy, that would have been nice if you're going to come up with that one.
They're 1 for 5 on 3rd down conversions tonight. This is 3rd down in the tough 9. Garrard, good protection around him. Throwing down the middle of the field. It is caught. Completed to Derek Collier, who was popped as he's dropped at the 6. Gain of 33. Garrard on the money there.
And Yancey Satterwhite is with him stride for stride, but Garrard makes a left-witch tight throw. Watch this as he sits in the pocket. Terrific coverage. Look at that. He puts it right on the money. Satterwhite is there. He just can't quite get it, despite the hard knock, able to hold on. Huge play for the Pirates. And Alston, I believe, is the guy that's down. Excuse me, I'm wrong.
It's like Terrence Copper is down. The sophomore from Washington, D.C. And he's limping.
Copper was the one running the underneath route. I think he got whacked a little bit.
And limping away quickly from the medical staff. Wants to get off the field under his own power.
Well, this is a huge drive for the Pirates because it seemed that the momentum had turned irrevocably to the side of the Thundering Herd. Give Gerard credit. Huge 3rd down conversion.
Double tight end set now. East Carolina. Gerard gives it to Henry. Does a little stutter step. Gain of 3 on the play. Kelvin Smith brought him down.
And Steve, not only is this drive effective in terms of taking chunks of yardage, it takes some time off the clock. And you're saying to yourself, what are you talking about? There's plenty of time left in the game. The issue here is in taking time off the clock, it makes the offense kind of get comfortable on the sidelines, sitting on their heels, watching the defense struggle a little bit. Psychologically, this is great for the Pirates.
2nd and goal from the 5. Off play action. Corner of the end zone, and Gerard just threw that one away. Arnie Powell was in the neighborhood.
Terrence Tarpley does a great job because everybody in the park is thinking, boy, running so effectively. But on 2nd down, they try and surprise him with a play-action fake. Number 21, Tarpley, absolutely is not fooled, and the result is that Gerard has to throw it away.
Despite suffering a preseason knee injury, Tarpley even required surgery. He's still able to start 11 of 12 games this season for the Thundering Herd. This is 3rd down and goal now. From the 5. Option. Sure are correct. And Gerard will hang on to it. And 3 Marshall players swing him around, led by Chris Crocker, who's having himself a ball game.
Steve, just as you talked about Jerome Stewart playing so well in the secondary for East Carolina, on the other side of the ledger is Chris Crocker, who continues to make good plays. Watch him come up and take on the tackle. Watch him take on Gerard. Forces him to the outside. He doesn't want to pitch now because they're too close, and Crocker says, nope, not here. You're going to have to attempt a field goal.
And so Kevin Miller comes on. Already hit from 25. This will be from 22. Again, he's in his last 8 in a row, and before the snap, the whistle blows.
Steve Logan wants to know what's going on, and so do we. William Lemonnier. I've waited all day. I wanted to say that.
And now you have.
Okay. He'll tell us.
How are you reading lips?
Come on. Yeah, exactly. What is it? What is this, the Marley Matlin show? Come on. Let us know. Well, he came over and Steve Logan was screaming at him. I guess the assumption is that there was something once again wrong with the clock. So
taking about the 12 seconds scoreboard clock off. Now we're reset and ready to go. And Miller from 22. We'll try it again. Low snap.
Whoa.
And Miller is able to put it through. Kevin Miller connects East Carolina tonight in the red zone. They've been so good all season. They're a perfect 5-5 when they move on their lead. Carries 73 yards and a touchdown. And there is Leonard Henry. Came into action already the Conference USA all-time record holder with 29 rushing touchdowns. And he remains in the football game today. This is the 4th straight drive for East Carolina that they'll start at their own 20-yard line. Seems to be this one. Henry is the ball carrier. A hop, skip, and a jump. He's tackled by Chris Crocker.
You know, we mentioned the Cincinnati game earlier when they had that 28-3 lead. The reason they had that is in the first quarter against Cincinnati. Henry had 168 yards and 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter.
We call him Leonard Henry. Dave, what do they call him?
Well, his nickname is Skinner, Steve. After the play, we'll tell you much more about that.
2nd down and 6. Slot right. Handed off to Henry, trying the right side. A nice spinning run, and he's got enough for the 1st down. Tell us about it, Dave.
So why is it Skinner? Well, turns out Leonard's dad, Charlie, was watching TV one night just before Leonard was born. He saw the rock and roll group Leonard Skinner playing. He told his wife, Teresa, Leonard would be a great name for our baby, with a different spelling, of course. So the nickname back home is Skinner, and all the guys in the ECU campus call him Skinner as well. Not Skinnerd, but Skinner.
He is 2nd in rushing all time for East Carolina. Junior Smith is the record holder. Looks like Charlie Dempsey is injured, the left guard for East Carolina. The sophomore from Jacksonville, North Carolina.
O-line has been doing an excellent job here, particularly on that last drive that took the momentum away from Marshall. Usually what happens at the end of the play is you catch it on the back. There you see him fall down and trip. Something, he's holding his right knee.
Right guard has been a problem for East Carolina this season. They've missed their starter at that position, Chris Nelson, for most of the season due to injury. And see if they lose their backup left guard here. Dempsey is Aaron Walker's backup.
Having experienced that, I know how frustrating it is because what that doctor tells you is such a big deal. You saw him patting the leg. How loose is it? How loose is it? That's what you're thinking if you're the man on the ground.
I'll tell you about some great college basketball while we have the opportunity. Tomorrow night on ESPN2, see Rick Pitino in Louisville take on Tennessee. And then the nightcap, Memphis and Temple. John Chaney, John Calipari. Should be interesting tomorrow night. We're double dipping college hoops here on ESPN2 as Dempsey is helped off the field.
Interesting with regards to that basketball. I'm curious your opinion. Pitino going to Louisville. I mean, that's odd. That's like a football coach who leaves Ohio State and goes to Michigan or something, or goes from Alabama to Auburn, right? I mean, that's quite a rivalry.
That is strange, and they're still not real happy about the job he did in Boston.
No.
And Pitino would actually admit to that. He did not do a particularly good job as Henry is swung around and dropped at the 30 for a loss of 1 on the play. Josh Cordell making the stop.
Good pursuit by the white shirts. The street stands his man up, and Cordell able to knife underneath and tackle Henry for the loss.
We read about players like Cordell and the media guy. You know, they say all the great accomplishments in high school, but he had his uniform number retired in high school, and you don't come across that too often.
No, you don't.
On second down and 11, send Leonard Henry in motion out to the right side. And it's picked off, and that's going to be 6. Terrence Tarpley, touchdown. 25 yards, an ill-advised screen pass, and Tarpley gets the touchdown.
Steve, this is thrown backwards. This is thrown backwards. The idea here is that he's going to throw the ball, but the block out front is not there. Take a look. He's supposed to be blocked, but it doesn't happen. I think it was Leonard Henry that was supposed to make the block. It doesn't happen. Tarpley steps in front of Alston, who is going to throw the ball downfield.
Curtis Head is on to attempt the extra point. 5:21 to play here in the third. And this ball game just got a little tighter. Head will boot it through.
Take another look at this play. The play is designed, it's a little bit of a gimmick. Now you can see right here, he's going to throw it backward. See, he's behind the line, but Henry could not block Tarpley. And the result is once again a momentum shift. Here's Garrard. There he's going to throw this backward. Alston's all set to go. Nope, he isn't. Tarpley, and as you point out, boy, that feels good if you're a corner. You get that pick six.
These two teams, we told you, combined to average 70 points per game, right about where we are now.
41. Hey!
But what we did not figure on is that the defenses have accounted for 28 of the 70 points tonight.
Well, remember in the first quarter, I believe they had this, it was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, 21 points, and now here it's 21-3 essentially here in the third quarter. So it's really and bizarre, isn't it?
And the East Carolina woes, we documented how they've struggled in the turnover department, but it's really been the fumbles, not the interceptions for East Carolina that's been the woes for them. Steve Logan pointed that out at the luncheon. If we could just hang on to the football. No fumbles, kids, yesterday. That was his message to his team. Marvin Towns, again, no opportunity for a run back, and East Carolina will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20. You get the sense this one is far from over. We still got a lot of points to be put up on that board by either the offense or the defense.
Well, there's 20 minutes left in the game, and what has to happen here for East Carolina is the same thing that happened 2 drives ago. That 11, he's shaking his head going, not again. Deja vu.
And they say this coaching is fun. Bowl games are fun. Logan does not look like he's having a good time here so far tonight. Handoff to Henry. Gain of 1 on the play.
Well, just as we talked about in the first quarter, how turnovers were such an issue for Marshall, now they're huge on the other end. First, the interception by Ralph Street, a great athletic play and great anticipation. And of course, on the other side here on this lateral, the pick by Tarpley, who steps in front and walks into the end zone. And once again, Marshall's got it going.
6 turnovers in the football game today. If you just look at the offensive points, East Carolina is leading Marshall 23-15. But it's 41-29 when you add it all up. And East Carolina looking for more. As Garrard took off, and Satterwhite brought him down after the gain of 21 by David Garrard. Injury update, down to Dave.
That's the big gainer on the ground for Dave Garrard there, despite the fact starting left guard Charlie Dempsey is lost for the game. They're saying a badly sprained left knee. Could be worse in terms of ligaments. They've got him iced up, and he's done for tonight.
All right, Dave, thank you. Garrard, the 3rd leading rusher on the team, had a 38-yard run earlier in the season. That one went for 21. This time we'll let the running back take care of things. Leonard Henry, the ball carrier, gain of 5 on the play. Garrard's best rushing game was against Syracuse. 13 carries for 54 yards.
Steve, I'm wondering if at this point, if Doug Martin isn't looking down the playbook and say, how many different ways can we run the option and how many different ways can we go off tackle? Garrard has only thrown the ball 13 times, and 2 of them have been for interceptions for touchdowns. So I can't imagine that Garrard's going to be throwing too much more in this game.
We'll see the numbers on him on 2nd down and 5. Here's Henry knifing through the hole and out to the 40. Chris Crocker brought him down. Good explosion there of speed by Henry, gain of 13.
Well, again, and this is where East Carolina is strong, and that's in the running game, getting the ball between the tackles. And even though Steve Logan points out we're not a time of possession kind of team. I would think that the way things are going in the third quarter, they might want to turn into one. Get one of those running drives and take time off the clock like they did 2 drives ago. And they took off 3:47. Excuse me.
Sorry, Todd. Henry is over 103 yards today. Option. This time it's Austin has problems getting the football, and he doesn't have the football. Marshall has it. Larry Davis took it away from Austin.
Now, for young players out there, here's my advice. If you're close to the sideline and you feel like you can't come up with the ball, as you see Steve Logan absolutely beleaguered. If you're this close to the sidelines and you can't come up with it, just bat the thing out of bounds right there. Just push it out of bounds. Instead, when you create a pop-up, earlier in the season, remember, Stephen, those of you that watched probably a Dolphin and Jet game where the receiver got picked off and the guy went the other way because he bobbled it up in the air. Just push the thing out of bounds if you're not sure.
On 1st down and 10. Marshall looking to be opportunistic. Wallace, the ball carrier, gain of 3 on the play. Kevin Ward made the stop for East Carolina. Marshall has the football back because East Carolina has turned it over 3 times this quarter. And a quarter, this still has 3 minutes left in it to play.
Steve, some huge pressure now on the East Carolina defense because you figure 38-8 this game is over with. If they score a touchdown now and come within 41-36, that is really going to be all sorts of problems on that bench for the Pirates.
Marshall thought the MAC championship game was over with as well when they had a 23-0 lead against Toledo, and that didn't work out. Incomplete pass. He tried to send it back to Franklin Wallace. This unique perspective of tonight's game. This unique perspective, that's not particularly unique. Now this is unique right there. This unique perspective of tonight's game being provided by the Saturn View from high above the stadium. The Saturn Lightship team hopes you enjoy the 2001 GMAC Bowl and the view.
Big 3rd down here for East Carolina. As we pointed out, Marshall has struggled on 3rd down throughout the game, but if they can, once again, there is a clock issue as we're waiting to see that get reset. But the point here with regards to East Carolina is if they can force a 3 and out after yet another turnover, that would just be huge for them.
Going to add some 23 seconds back onto the clock.
So I wonder, who does this benefit, offense or defense, with all the stalling? What do you think?
I think, Todd, I'm probably supposed to be asking you that particular question.
Well, I'm just giving you a chance to analyze.
I would think the stalling would help the offense here.
So give me a chance then to change my voice and go, okay, 3rd and 8. How's that?
Try it. Actually, the problem is you can do that. That's the problem if we get into a play-by-play opportunity. Probably better at it than I am. I'll be out of a job.
3 for 9. That's what we talked about, the 3rd down conversions.
It's 3 for 9. Didn't do it that way. Here's Leftwich. There's plenty of time. Throwing. Found a seam, and he's got his man. Danero Marriott down at the 30-yard line.
When they continue to rush with 3 and they're in their zone, where they're most vulnerable, Steve, is in the short corner area. Remember in the 2nd quarter, he had a similar throw to Watts that he dropped near the sidelines. Here is the short corner by Marriott. He gets between the safeties and the linebackers underneath. And when you have this kind of time, well, what a gun he has. And look at that spiral. Well, he throws a pretty ball.
23-yard gain on the play.
26 of 39 now for 319 yards.
And they give it to Watts with the speed, turned the corner, but is tackled out of bounds. Cordell Griffin got a hand on him after the gain of 7.
Florida makes that play popular with their fun and gun, and of course Pruitt serves some time down there in the Sunshine State, so he's well aware of that. Watts is their fastest player, a 4.38 man is my understanding. Of course, I never believe 40 times anymore, but you can see number 40 is quite quick, and of course Tim Rose has to be a very concerned defensive coordinator.
2nd down and 4. On the 23. The temperature has taken a pretty good dip. Game time temperature tonight was 63 degrees. They get the play away. That's pressure. Leftwich swung around and down. Vonta Leach on the sack. A loss of 7 on the play.
And that's why you had Tim Rose paying so much attention. He decided he wanted to come to blitz with the outside. Here he comes. comes in completely untouched. Poor job on the part of Wallace in searching out somebody coming in. When you have the back who's in, that's the guy that should be able to see it. In this case, Wallace could not, and the result is a sack now, 3rd and 11.
Find out how important that play really was after this play. 3 receivers out to the right. Wallace standing side by side with Leftwich. Here's Byron to throw. Sets, fires, it's Marriott, 1st down and more. And he's dropped at the 15, gain of 15, and Leach brought him down.
Leach is a linebacker at 5'11", and a little close to 250 pounds. There's no way that he should be covering Marriott coming across the middle like that. That is a complete mismatch. Great job by Leftwich to see it. 1st down for the Thundering Herd.
Marriott, 9 catches, 114 yards so far on the night. Here's Wallace. Touchdown! Franklin Wallace. 15 yards up the middle for the score.
Steve, when you continue to fade back and pass, you spread people out, you're looking for receivers, you're looking for crossing routes, you're looking for all these things in the secondary. And what happens? You go with the slip draw, poor tackling, in for 6. Take a look at the middle of the field, you're going to see the poor tackling. Right here, no, you got to wrap people up. That's 3 different people who missed the tackle. The result is Wallace is in for the touchdown. And Steve, at this point, it's no longer hype. We do have a football game.
Here's Head on for the extra point, and it is good. 60 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. We're in a 5-point game. Dave, down to you.
All right, Steve. Todd had said what will happen on the East Carolina sideline a few moments ago. Marshall marches down the field and scored what was once a 30-point lead is down to 5. As you can imagine, guys are hanging their heads here. What you're hearing mostly is, what in the world is going on? Didn't we have a big lead a few minutes ago? And some other words I really can't repeat to you guys on the air.
Marshall has outscored East Carolina, Dave, 28-3 in this 3rd quarter. Amazing when you think that Marshall was down 38-8 at halftime. And here we find ourselves in a 5-point game with a minute left in the 3rd quarter.
Well, to be honest,
please.
Forget it.
Oh, you're not going to be honest now?
As soon as somebody prefaces that right away, you know it's bogus. Have you ever had people come to you and say, hey, can I ask you a question? Well, that's a question already. Meaning that what I was about to say was, I believe that this could happen, but not with a minute left in the 3rd quarter. I was thinking that maybe, what about, say, 3 or 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter?
Here's Head to kick it away. Towns won't get a chance again. Head boots it into the end zone every single time. Turnover's the story in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, very good. Speaking of, we have a phrase in our house, Steve. It's called MOTO, M-O-T-O, master of the obvious. Yeah, turnovers is in the story, all right. Those 2 picks, and of course the last one by Alston, who up to this point had a tremendous game, a number of big plays, just a pop-up, and of course that turns into a touchdown. Now 41-36, the result of Wallace breaking 3 tackles, in for the score. With 55 seconds remaining, and evidently there's a penalty because they're going to have to kick it again.
There's a flag down. You look at the turnovers, 7 in the football game. So you can't call this a well-played game, but for those folks with the GMAC ball here, certainly been entertaining football game.
Yes, that goes without saying.
Neither
right.
coach will like it.
No, exactly right. We haven't seen too many smiles in the sidelines, either from Logan or Pruitt. Steve Logan's saying to himself, yeah, 28-3, we understand the Cincinnati thing, we understand these others, but come on, 38-8? He knew what he was talking about when he said that to Dave Ryan. But of course, Dave always is able to elicit, to get those responses, isn't he? Not the coach speak, he gets the real thing.
He's special like that.
He is.
Curtis Head will kick it again. We'll see if Marvin Towns has a chance to return this one. Head puts a leg into it. Wow, Towns looked like he was thinking about it. He maybe took his eye off the ball, but he'll be rescued by the touchback. Again, we've mentioned it. We've harped on it throughout, and it's fact. Can't get around it. East Carolina, you look at the last 4 games, situations they've been in the first half, dismantling some teams early, and then having to hang on or lose.
I can't speak for the other 4 games, Steve, but I hear here in Mobile where they fancy themselves a bit of the junior New Orleans. Maybe it's bad mojo.
Could be. Food for thought. Food for thought as well. Here's Garrard now. Throwing it across the middle and completing to Richard Alston. Makes a nice move for an extra yard to give him the first down. 38 seconds left in this third quarter. Gain of 11 on that play.
That was a play that was effective. Remember, in the first quarter, they ran the same thing, the misdirection. Ralph Street took kind of a circuitous route to get to the quarterback, number 34. If he'd have just taken off and gone after Garrard, he might have had him. But instead, rounded it a little bit, and that afforded Garrard the chance to find Alston in the middle of the field.
All 6 East Carolina second half drives have started at their own 20-yard line. Handoff. Henry the left side. Gain of 4. Chris Crocker took him down. 8th tackle of the game for Crocker of Marshall.
Now, everything, you know what's entertaining about this, Steve, is the time runs out here in the third quarter. Everything that we'd anticipated. Henry goes over 100 yards. Leftwich goes over 300 yards. We have over 70 points in scoring. And guess what? It's only the end of the third quarter.
First 3 quarters have been rather entertaining. Can't wait to see what the fourth quarter has to offer. You have to wonder what's going through the minds of Steve Logan and Bob Pruitt. No idea how this one is going to shake out. Final 15 minutes are coming up.
College football lives here.
You have asked for a better first half, Steve Logan, a complete domination of Marshall.
Well, we've done this all year long, and what we got to do now is go play 2 more quarters of football, which we haven't done all year long. So we're going to have to finish this thing. 2 defensive touchdowns, as big as it can get, but it's all about finishing now. This team is not finished, so that's going to be our focus in the second half, see if we can turn the heat up about 2 degrees.
Good luck in the second half.
The most recent flashback ever. Usually we flash back yesterday, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. Not a quarter ago, as Leonard Henry is the ball carrier, but Steve Logan knows of what he speaks, and if you thought that was just coach speak, hey, trying to keep his team focused and involved, absolutely not. It's exactly what we're talking about here in the second half.
Of course, I'm sure that he hadn't predicted that his team was going to turn the ball over 3 times in the third quarter, 2 of them interceptions for touchdowns, but then again, he has experienced that.
Todd, is that inexperience, the lack of the killer instinct? We see that among our college football travels. Teams get up big and can't put other teams away, and I don't think you see it as much in the NFL.
Well, I think what ends up happening is you have the inability to just step on the other guy's neck, and then what happens is when you have a big lead like that, you start to play not to lose as opposed to playing to win. And as those of you who watch a lot of sports know, there's a big difference between the two.
And the measurement. Good for a first down. .13:07 left to play here in the fourth quarter. You are locked into the GMAC Bowl. 25th ranked Marshall found themselves trailing by 30 at halftime. And now they're trailing by 5. You see the first downs. We just about flip-flop the first half to the second half. Now here's East Carolina on the move, looking to add to their 5-point lead. Off play action, they pitch it back. So Richard Alston thought about throwing it. Bumps off some people, and he's down at the 28-yard line. Richard Alston can throw the football. 4 times this season, he's attempted passes. 2 of them have gone for touchdowns.
Well, here's what happens here. Torrey Morris actually gets downfield, and he is open, but the play takes too long. And what happens is they're able to recover. Watch him come to the inside. Now he comes downfield. Look at this. Whoa, is he open? Throw it, throw it. But it took too long. It just took too long, and as a result, he was just able to get a couple of yards and get out of bounds.
And Alston as a thrower, 2 of 4 for 105 yards, and 2 scores. Here's Garrard throwing and completing to Derek Collier. And Collier's down to the 10-yard line. Collier really looking to find pay dirt. That's been a problem. He's tied for the team lead with 31 catches, but not a single touchdown catch this
And let me
season.
tell you what was really important about this catch. He spins away. The guy comes out of nowhere to whack him from the backside. Bam! And you would have thought that at that point, number 55 would have separated the ball from him. That's Sam Goins, but he was able to hang on. That was a big play by him in holding on.
First down and 10 from the 12. Gerard faked the option and kept it himself. Gain of 2 on the play. Max Yates brought him down. Yates, the big stopper on the Marshall defense, been relatively quiet so far today. I haven't mentioned his name too often.
Ralph Street, it was interesting, decides to go for the back this time instead of going after Gerard. You can see he chases after the back, cuts to the inside, and Gerard does make the right decision in not pitching the ball and holding on.
Yates in double figures in 11 of 12 games this season. Tackles, 21 against Akron. Here today, he has just 5 tackles so far. And 12 to go here in the 4th. Gerard under immediate pressure, able to break a tackle and leaps into the end zone. Now there is a flag down. There is a flag down.
Oh, that's huge.
He's going to come back holding against Gerard in the offense.
Well, we know at 250 pounds he can break tackles. Take a look at the middle of your screen. There's the holding right there on the ground. He's got him by the leg. That's the official sees, and so they'll go 10 yards back from that spot. Breaks the tackle of Alonzo Jones, and there you can see that's clear holding on the part of DeMarcus Fox, who's holding Yancey Satterwhite.
East Carolina 5 for 5 in the red zone in this game. Here's Gerard. Rolling right, now feeling the pressure left. Still on his feet, down to the 15.
Boy, oh boy, is he strong. I got to tell you, it looked like Sam Goins had him, was just going to drag him down, no problems, along with Orlando Washington. Take a look now. I know what his thinking is. Hey, everybody's coming to this side. Now, if I go back against the grain, I'm going to pull it off. Orlando Washington says, no way, I'm dragging you down. Look how strong he is. I mean, that's a big man now. Washington's near 300 pounds, and he still can't pull him down.
Loss of 3 on that play.
Now here, you know what I like here, Steve? I like a draw play for this reason. 3rd down and 14, you're probably not going to get the first down. Don't try and throw a pass and force something, and that's what he's doing. He's going to call timeout and discuss it and say, look, I've got a great field goal kicker here. Let's go up by 8 points. Let's not take any chances at all, because at this point, the only thing that's been killing us is turnovers. Let's go up by 8 points. Let's be safe.
Since we all arrived in town on Monday night, we certainly appreciate the fine hospitality of the people here and the folks put together the GMAC Bowl. Pivotal play in the game on 3rd and 14. After the timeout, here's Gerard throwing. Slung it inside the 10, and it's incomplete. Collier couldn't hang on.
Really, I don't understand that play, and they're fortunate to get that ball back, because what he wanted is an out and up, and he was about to throw it up for grabs. He pulled it back, threw it downfield. I don't understand, because Henry can get you 5 yards, then you've got a field goal inside the 30, a chip shot. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to make a 32-yarder. I'm just saying that seems to me to make more sense.
And Todd, they burned a timeout to use that play. They have just 1 timeout left, and that figures to be pivotal in this game. Here's Kevin Miller. From 32 yards away, it is up, and it is good. Cue the cannon. And it becomes an 8-point game with 10:43 left here in the 4th. And again, East Carolina will have just 1 timeout left.
Now, an issue that we haven't brought up earlier, but it has become a bit of an issue. You mentioned that it's gotten a little bit colder. Also, the wind has picked up a little bit because all the kicks that have gone in this direction. Now Marshall is going to be going into the wind. That could affect some of Leftwich's throws.
And so Marshall will face some more adversity, finding themselves down 8 points in this game. This is a season that opened for the Thundering Herd, and you talk about tough scheduling at a conference. They lost their opener at then #1 Florida, 49-14. Then spent the next 6 games dealing with a self-imposed suspension of 12 starters sprinkled throughout those 6 games who allegedly received some extra benefits. And that's something Bob Pruitt has talked about, fighting through the adversity all season long. And they find themselves now here in the bowl game, a 5th straight bowl game, trailing by 8.
And now how big does that 2-point conversion by Trod Buggs loom?
Yes.
Because now
Excellent
they're
point.
1 score away as opposed to being down 9 points.
I am finding that recently the 2-point conversion in both college and the NFL seems to be more pivotal. Now, I don't know if we're just paying more attention to it or we're in a string of 2-point conversions. Here's Carey out to the 20-yard line. 18-yard return.
We should compliment East Carolina, their cover teams. It seems to me, Steve, that you know, they've scored 44 points, which means they kicked off a lot. And I don't recall Marshall ever starting outside the 20 as a result of a kickoff return.
So astute, Todd. For East Carolina, they did allow a kick return to Zeke Parker of Louisville for 91 yards and a score. But the next longest after that all season, just 29 yards. So that's the kick coverage you are talking about. Out of the gun, inside handoff to Franklin Wallace. They'll pick up 3 on the play. Pernell Griffin on the stop. Tomorrow night, the 2001 bowl season continues, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN. Phillip Rivers, the Wolfpack, they'll meet up with the Pitt Panthers and potentially their superstar receiver, Antonio Bryant, who's trying to get through an injury. That game in Orlando, the 2001 Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl on ESPN.
Nice shot with the USS Alabama in the background.
That would be bowl 3 of 20 as we count it down. Leftwich on his own, gain of 7 on the play.
Now I wonder, Steve, you say to yourself, if you're at home and you're a Marshall fan, you say, why hasn't he done that before? Because if they rush with 3 and they've got 8 in coverage, you're thinking to yourself, there got to be some holes for that quarterback to exploit. It just goes to show how much confidence Leftwich has in his arm and how disciplined he is. Because we've seen so many young quarterbacks. The first read's not there. I'm gone. I got to run. He hangs in there, sees read after read after read. This young man, after a horrible start, continues to impress me.
Picked up the Vern Smith Award as the conference's MVP, only the 3rd Marshall player to win it. Randy Moss and Chad Pennington, tremendous former Herd players, won it before. That pass by Leftwich behind his intended target, Darius Watts. And I think the East Carolina defense done a good job taking Watts pretty much out of this game.
They really have. You know, coming into this game, he had those absolutely stunning stats. 91 catches for 1,417 yards, 18 touchdowns, 118 yards per game in yardage. He has not approached that. He is, I wouldn't say he's been a non-factor, but certainly he hasn't been as big a factor as you thought he was going to be.
The 91 catches breaks, speaking of Randy Moss. Moss's Division 1A school record since Marshall came into Division 1A in '97. 2nd year of Bob Pruitt's staff. Here's Leftwich now. Throwing, put some air under it. Maybe too much. Watts couldn't bring that one down. Watts goes 6'2", 175, just a sophomore.
And the hands on the hips by Leftwich speaks volumes. He had what he wanted, and you're exactly right. He gave it a little bit too much air.
3rd down and 10.
It's one of those where the quarterback pats himself on the chest and says, my bad.
Marshall, 5 of 11 on 3rd down. Again, 49% on the season, 5th best team in the nation in 3rd down conversions. And the crowd starts to get loud. And here's Leftwich across the middle, completing 1st down yardage and more. And Leftwich is shaken up. Looked like he took a hit after the 17-yard gain to Josh Davis. Pernell Griffin looked like he put the hit on Leftwich.
And I'm telling you what, boy, he takes a lot of hits. Watch at the end of the play, you're going to see it. Pernell Griffin drives him into the ground. Now, I'm telling you right now, Steve, at the NFL level, that's 15 yards. They call that. But look how tough he is. He hangs in, and you can see him grimacing. This would be a time to hand the ball off and let him recover a little bit.
Good call, Coach. There's Wallace, the ball carrier. Out to about the 46-yard line, gain of 6. Griffin, another tackle. Now, we've seen both quarterbacks shows tremendous strength. These are not players who would appear to be injury prone. They take hits and keep on ticking.
Well, this is one of the reasons why the pros love to have a big man like this, because they are going to take shots like that. If that's your normal college quarterback, he got a break there because there was an injured player for East Carolina sprinting off the field. They blew it when Ronald Powell was coming off the field, and of course, there's Troth warming up just in case.
Second down and 4.
Excuse me, Stan Hill is the young man.
And they hand it off to Wallace. Cut it back inside for a nice gain. Gain of 5 on the play. Griffin, another tackle, but not before it was too late.
Now that's back-to-back handoffs, and you have to ask yourself the question, how badly is he hurting? We see him grimace, we see him lean over. Once he plants that, because he's holding his lower back, and you know how difficult that is, Steve, to plan and get the ball downfield.
Ed Zonbrecker, the offensive coordinator, told us about Leftwich holding on to the ball as the screen is out to Josh Davis. There is a flag on the play, but maybe that was an example. Zonbrecker said Leftwich has the guts. He hangs on to the ball to the very last second, try to wait for his receiver to get into the clear, and because of that, you're going to absorb some big hits, as he did.
Substitution problem on the part of East Carolina, and once again, that'll give Leftwich some time to recover a little bit. I fractured my transverse process, Steve, and that's the bone that kind of covers your kidney down low, and it looks like it's around that area for Leftwich. You see, right around his average, the offense averages throwing 350 yards a game. We'll take another shot at this. Of course, Pernell Griffin. This is 254 pounds, coming with speed, driving him into the ground right there, right through. Gosh.
Leftwich off the best season for a quarterback in MAC history. We talked to him yesterday. I said, I just wanted to try to goad him into an answer. He said, how was your season? He said, that could have been better. Not according to MAC statistics, it couldn't have been better. He had a brilliant season. Nice young man. Quick handoff to the receiver, Darius Watts. And Watts to the 31-yard line, gain of 7.
Steve, I'm telling you right now, he's having a problem. He's really having a problem. He's bent over. You can see by his body language, because if he's going to throw the ball, I would say if you're hurting that badly, you know he's going to come out of the gun, because he doesn't want to take the 5-step drops and he has problems with his lower back. So the more he's under the snap, the more you realize that it's either going to be a quick throw or he's going to hand the ball off. Here I'm guessing he's going to throw.
First down and 10. Inside draw on the handoff out of the shotgun. No gain there.
That's what I get for guessing.
The wind really picking up. We can show you the American flag in the end zone. It's really blowing. There you go. That's John McDonough getting it done. And it's blowing well away. Marshall going against the wind.
When is he going to throw? That's a big question. And how well is it? What's it going to look like?
And Todd, if you notice it, chances are the East Carolina coaching staff is well aware. Probably their players as well. They're coming with the blitz. Leftwich drops. Wallace stays in to protect nicely. Flag comes late from the back judge. Gennaro Marriott, the intended target. And there's an injured Pirate down on the field. And it might be serious the way some of the Carolina players are pointing to get the medical attention on the field, and quickly. Is that Charlie Robinson? For East Carolina, might be the injured Pirate on the field.
There's the catch right at the end. Collides, tries to make the hit, and it actually comes from his own teammate. Comes from number 12, Anthony Adams. Take a look head to head. Right there at the end. So it catches him right in the ear hole. He's actually going after the receiver. I don't know, frankly, I don't know where the flag came. I mean, I know where the flag came from. I just don't know why.
Todd, Anthony Adams has been playing with a slight concussion, involved in that collision with Charlie Robinson.
Oh, good.
Who's getting up, but slowly. It's a time you want to take your time.
Yes, you do. And this is the point where they're saying, how many fingers and where are you? I've been there, Steve, where I actually had to reach down and touch the AstroTurf to realize where I was. I was that screwed up. But I'm glad he got up. Now back to the game for just a second. It didn't appear, judging by the velocity of that pass, that he had any problems.
Yes. Going back to Leftwich.
Yeah.
Seems like a long time ago we were talking about.
It does. And I'm guessing that all this time off, you know, the time in between with the running plays and this, I think it's benefited.
The offense. Really benefiting the offense.
Yep.
On first down and 10. Pass to number 3. Leftwich, straight drop with time. Cocks and fires, and that is flat out drop. It was good coverage on the play at the 5. Josh Davis had it and then could not hang on.
Steve, this is what I preach to young receivers. And for those of you that are at home that listen to the people say catch it in the hands, they're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. When you're between the hashes, you body this ball because you know you're going to get hit. Watch, he tries to make the nice hands catch, and all you have to do is get a piece of your arm to strip the ball away. If he goes up and cradles it in his chest with his arms and elbows, that's a catch. Travis Heath is the one to strip.
Good advice from a guy who caught 90 balls in the NFL a couple of times. On second down and 10, according to our statistics, that's the 8th drop tonight by Marshall. Here's Leftwich rolling to his right and taking off. There is a flag down. Leftwich is taking on some people at the 15. Could have gone out of bounds, but elected to take the hit for the extra yardage and administer some punishment as well. A 7-yard gain, but we'll see what the flag's about.
Well, it's holding, and it's all going to come back.
And it's really not worth it. No.
Holding offense. 10 yards, clean your spot, still second down.
But this does tell you one other thing too, Steve, and that is that if he is hurting as badly as we thought he was, he certainly wouldn't have been running the ball there. He would have thrown it out of the end zone. But instead he's feeling a little bit better, and once again Heath is the one that comes up and takes a hit on him. Rolls out to the right. Not the niftiest guy in the world, but listen to the collision. Now, despite the fact that Heath is the one that can deliver the lick, I think he took the brunt of it.
Todd, I'm almost surprised more players don't have hand or wrist injuries. That looked like down low, helmet to the wrist area as well. And Leftwich shakes it off. And he's ready to throw again. Across the middle, and it is nearly intercepted. And quite frankly, should have been. Anthony Adams came across and could have had the pick.
Tim Rose has been shaking it up here in the 4th quarter, not taking any more chances with the 3 rush and going back because Leftwich has been picking it apart. Now they've been coming with 4, 5, and 6-man rushes to make him hurry his throws. Anthony Adams is waiting in the weeds. He reads his eyes the entire time, cuts across. You're absolutely right, Steve. That hit him right in the face mask. He should have had the pick. Now, Steve, this is another situation that we mentioned earlier. More than likely, they're not going to get to the 10-yard line. Throw a hook pattern, get a little bit closer for a more makeable field goal.
Just get the play off. Here's Leftwich. Throwing. It's got a man wide open. It's Marriott. Touchdown. Canelo Marriott got behind the coverage. It's a 30-yard score. And Marshall continues to keep it close. It's a 2-point game, and they're going for 2.
Certainly they're going to go for 2, but what I didn't understand there, Steve, is that defensively for Tim Rose and his Chargers, why would you blitz? They come with a blitz, and that means man-for-man coverage. Marriott has been running it out, running the short corner very well. He's able to get Rodgers, cuts behind him, touchdown, and now they have an opportunity to tie the game with 6:15 remaining.
When it was 38-8 East Carolina at halftime, you did not think about Marshall would be going for the tie. They've already got a 2-point conversion tonight. This for the tie. As Leftwich brings him up, 3 receivers to his right, and he's going to attempt the pass for it. And it is batted away. 2-point conversion fails.
You know what? That would have been worth a timeout. It was clear to me that Leftwich was still not quite right. He was still a little bit fatigued. That was a huge 2 points. It would have been worth it to call the timeout, regroup a little bit. Instead, the benefit goes to East Carolina, a precarious 2-point lead.
Back in Mobile, Alabama for the potential fantastic finish here.
Well, of course, you know, this is storybook. The guy's been beat up. Third down, it's a huge play. He delivers on the money. But as I say, Steve, with that two-point conversion, that play was so large, and you know the guy's beat up. You know they're a little bit tired. Regroup. Sit there. Don't put all the pressure on your quarterback to make this absolutely one huge call. Visit with your offensive coordinator. Visit with your head coach. Make a decision on the sidelines. Plus, you get a chance to rest and think about it a little bit.
And they did have all 3 timeouts at their disposal,
sure.
Which, of course, they still have now.
Again, I keep talking about this young man at the next level, but the thing that's got to be impressive to professional scouts is they saw him at the beginning struggle. He could have easily just chucked it and said, I'm not, you know what, it's not my night, blah, blah, blah. We're 10-2. I still have big numbers. Instead, he regroups. He's been getting whacked around. He's been getting hit, but the young man continues to hang in there. This young man has a great future on Sunday.
He's looking forward just to even next year. They're only going to lose 1 or 2 starters on offense. Short kick is bobbled momentarily, but then it's picked up. Ben Thomas with the good hands there. Let's go down to Dave Ryan.
All right, Stephen Todd, as you can imagine, Marshall's sideline has been exploding with the incredible comeback. At one point in this game, down by 30 points. Been a roller coaster ride of emotions, to say the least, but their emotion now is totally on a high. Terrence Tarpley and Chris Crocker, 2 of the guys defensively trying to get the rest of their teammates going after a great comeback from this offense. They want the D to stand up tall here.
East Carolina look to take some time off the clock. Garrard off the play action, rolling to his left. Now cuts it back to the right side, the near side. And here's Garrard out to the 40, and he's got the first down.
Now remember when he was inside the 20 going the other direction, that's exactly what he was thinking, which was he rolls all the way back and knows that he's got to cut back on a lot of yardage to the other side. This time, none of the defensive linemen could get their hands on him, and the result is a big gain.
Gain of 15 on the play there. And the clock stops, but it would have stopped anyway because it was for a first down. Garrard taking his time at the line of scrimmage. They get the play away, fakes the option, keeps it himself. And he has dropped Satterwhite. Another tackle for him after the gain of 1. The Saturn Lightship is providing us with these magnificent aerial views of the Ladd-Peebles Stadium and downtown Mobile, Alabama tonight. Saturn is proud to provide its view as the official vehicle of the 2001 GMAC Bowl. On 2nd and 8 now. Rushing some people. Garrard hung in there to the last second and couldn't get a play in it. Derek Collier who gave you the effort but couldn't bring it down. Garrard, we talked about Leftwich hanging in the last second. Garrard hung in there.
Well, he did. Larry Davis came in and just whacked him, and I really thought that was a catchable ball. You're right. He needed his receiver to bail him out.
Are we going to see you coming up next? Said NFL's greatest moments.
I tell you what, people, I hope there are people at home who can stand for this. They haven't been cheated. This has been a lot of fun tonight, Steve.
Those who have walked out early wish there was a readmittance policy here at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. 3rd down and 8. Draw play.
Great
successful.
Call.
Leonard Henry up the middle with the burst of speed. As the coaching staff told us, 0 to 60 in no time. Touchdown. There are no flags. 55-yard burst for Leonard Henry.
Larry Davis, the one that almost knocked down Garrard before he got the ball off. This time, the young man is the one who unfortunately misses the tackle. They spread him out, do a great job of 4 wide receivers. Now as he comes up the middle, there's Davis. He cannot make the tackle. Everybody's got their back turned because they're in coverage. Satterwhite cannot catch Henry. He's off to the races. A huge score for the Pirates.
But this 4 rushing touchdowns for Henry today, Todd, as Kevin Miller puts the extra point through. 25 carries, 165 yards, 2 scores for Leonard Henry. Marshall has come back all night. Do they have another comeback left in them? We'll find out over the next 5 minutes. This is after the touchdown by East Carolina. Wow, that wasn't very nice, Todd. And I think she hurt her hand.
Well, come on. Then she deserves to get her hands hurt. She's not doing much of the work. The other guy is.
Speaking of working hard, putting in an effort today. Leonard Henry, East Carolina.
Skinner.
And the kickoff bounces out of the end zone. Marshall will take over. Down by the always elusive 9 with 4:55 to play here in the fourth. Marshall does have all 3 timeouts left. So far tonight, we've seen 921 yards of total offense. We told you these two schools average a combined 70 points per game. We're at 93 and counting.
Yeah, Steve, Ben and I were talking about that before the game. He says, I think the over and under on this is 60. I said, hope you took over. Man.
Well, much more coverage, post-game reaction. Todd's fine analysis over on ESPN News. As soon as this one is over, that pass Leftwich was behind his intended target, the running back Franklin Wallace.
Now is the situation where Leftwich needs to revert to what he was doing in the third quarter. Carolina has a 2-score lead, so I'm almost certain that most of the time they're going to rush 3 and cover with 8. They just don't want to give up a big play at this point.
On 2nd and 10, 3 receivers to his right. Continue to rush 3, Todd, as Leftwich throws and completes the pass underneath. Able to get it to Curtis Jones, who wanted to spin away from the tackle, but could not. Gain of 8 on the play.
And, of course, what's costly about that is not getting the first down. The clock continues to run.
3rd and short. They run it with the quarterback Leftwich up the middle, and there the clock stops on the first down. Leftwich picks up 4 on the play.
And one of the advantages is the receivers didn't have to move, so there'll be very little time go off the clock here as Leftwich makes the call.
First down and 10 for Leftwich. Throwing sideline and completing to Curtis Jones. Gain of 16, and there is a flag down.
Looks like it could be a personal foul. Well, I'll tell you what, that was awfully late for a hold. Very late.
Marshall, the first MAC team to average more than 500 yards offense per game. And they're not at 500 yet tonight.
One thing that impresses me as we get this shot from the blimp is Leftwich. I like his demeanor, and I think that's one of the things the coach have great respect for him is with regards to his demeanor. Not too high, not too low. That's great to have that in the quarterback.
This is what it looks like from the blimp, and probably even a little smaller from the moon. So as Leftwich will throw, you get the aerial look from the really cheap seats. Able to complete. Can you see there from that point? It was 82. Josh Davis. 17-yard gain on the play.
Well, again, the great time that he gets, he sits there and essentially throws the same route. It's the out route. Instead of Jones this time, it was Davis.
Josh Davis, first team All-MAC. There it is again. Every Marshall player, or just about every. 31 of 49, the numbers on Leftwich. 406 yards passing. Looking for more. That in and out of the hands of Darius Watts. When Leftwich has been off, he's been high tonight.
Well, let's give credit to East Carolina. They came with 5 that time, decided that they wanted to blitz to shake him up a little bit, and when he saw the blitz, he hurried his throw a little bit, and that's why it was awry.
More great college football for you. Division I and Division I AA. Check out the championship game on Friday on ESPN. As Leftwich throws and completes. Hits Denero Marriott. Gain of 5 on the play. Kevin Ward made the stop.
Good tackle by Ward, because it appeared that Marriott was going to be able to spin out and get some extra yardage and maybe get out of bounds, but Ward drops him in his tracks, and as a result, the clock will start again, even though they get the first down.
3 receivers to the right of Leftwich now. Trailing by 9. All 3 timeouts left.
Come with the blitz.
Pressure up the middle. Right by Leftwich. He's able to stand up and throw, and should have been complete, but that'll go as a drop. Marriott could not hang on. That would have been good enough for first down yardage, I think.
It's got to feel really good when you're a receiver and you can run around and know that the first guy more than likely is going to miss your quarterback. I mean, comes right up the middle, completely untouched. Take a look. Here's Griffin. Got him dead to rights. Now I don't think so. You go by me. I tell you what, boy, I just am really impressed, besides the arm of Leftwich with his poise, and boy, has he been betrayed. I'm thinking, Steve, he's got to be well over 500 yards, according to what we have, the 9th drop of the game.
Here's Leftwich. And he went down. Let's see if they call him down, and they do. Pernell Griffin, the sack, as Leftwich tried to get it away. A loss of 10, and Leftwich will shake that one off as well.
And it's almost and I was going to say, same spot, he's hurt again, but it's almost the identical play. Remember that Griffin came in and pile drived him into the ground. Take a look. He's able to fight through. Now right here, he's got him. Drives him into the ground right on that same side, the exact same place.
Getting a good look at Griffin. 13 tackles, 1.5 sacks. I told you he's in the top 5 in the nation in total tackles. Conference USA's all-time leader in tackles. And he has the school record at 24 tackles this season in the opener against Wake Forest.
Well, what's he done other than that?
Yeah, nothing. Double-digit tackles, Todd, in 21 of his 41 career starts. Pernell Griffin. And he doesn't just tackle. He's not just arm tackling people either. And as you saw, I just asked Byron Leftwich, he's putting a hurting on some people. College basketball would like to be, in some cases, as high scoring as this football game. Tennessee and Louisville, will they get there? Probably. 7 Eastern on ESPN2 tomorrow night. That'll be followed up by Memphis and Temple. You get a look at the diaper dandy DeJuan Wagner. John Chaney goes up against John Calipari. College basketball tomorrow night, right here on ESPN2.
You know, as you mentioned that, I think it was the other, 2 nights ago, the Utah Jazz and the Miami Heat.
Last night?
Was it last night?
56 points.
56 points. You just mentioned those points. I thought, wow, that's pro basketball.
I would have liked to have heard Pat Riley's post-game press conference. Hey, that was in Miami.
Yeah, right.
They're not used to tough times. They got that brand spanking new arena down in Miami, too.
Well, 3rd and 19, you're saying to yourself, well, boy, you know, no big deal. But remember, he had a like situation where he threw the touchdown to Marriott.
East Carolina bringing some people. Leftwich hangs in there and throws. Timing route is caught. Watts has the first down and was looking for extra yardage. It's forced out. Gain of 23.
I don't understand the thinking. Again, you're ahead by 9 points, and maybe that's what it is. But why would you blitz in that situation? 3rd and 19. Rush 3, put 8 guys back, let him complete a ball for 8 yards, make a tackle, and force a 4th down. Instead, they go man coverage. And once again, Leftwich continues to burn them when they go man.
Making 3rd and 19 look rather easy. Gain of 23 on the play. Cross midfield into the 42 of the Pirates. Leftwich again, all sorts of time, has a man wide open, and make that drop number 10. Josh Davis, the guilty party.
To his credit, though, the young man, number 7, I have yet to see him, and I've been watching closely, I have yet to see him scream at somebody and tell him to hang on to the ball. And if ever there was a night where you could have done it, this is the night. A huge game, a championship game by their standards, a bowl game, rings, watches, whatever is on the line, and yet this young man has refused to blame anybody.
And that will also tell the NFL folks watching another positive about Byron Leftwich. We asked him about feeling the pressure. He goes, nah. Pressure breaks pipes, he said, not people.
You know what? That's a good. You know what? I was just thinking about that. I was looking down at my notes.
Right.
And it's not 10. It's 11 drop. We have to count Dave Ryan's.
We're not going to flash back and show the Dave Ryan drop. No. Ryan should have hung on, we thought, yesterday. So 1 drop yesterday, 10 here tonight in the GMAC Bowl. 10 drops, not a laughing matter for the host Marshall. Here's Leftwich now.
It's again.
Takes the big hit, hung in there for the last second, and able to complete to Danilo Marriott.
And I think that they're going to tack on 15, I'm guessing here. That's got to be a roughing the passer. Kevin Ward is the one that came on the delayed blitz, and he hit him right. Boy, he whacked it.
Gets up slowly again after completing for 22 yards.
And folks, you wonder, you see how Leftwich looks a little bit fat. Well, he's not fat, you know that. Those are rib pads. And the reason you have to have those rib pads is because of the hits like this that you've got to take as the quarterback. Here comes Ward down the middle. There's the throw. Hits him right in the mouth. Good call by the official. And he hangs in there and delivers the ball on the money. Unbelievable. And Steve Logan, you know what? You need to get on the sidelines because that's exactly what maybe he didn't see him hit him in the mouth, but the timing of it was okay, but you can't go to his head.
I think when Coach Logan sees the replay, he will agree.
Yep.
Under 3 to go. Clock is moving. And so too is Marshall. 1st and goal from the 9 now after the penalty. Here's Leftwich. Guns it in there, and maybe too hard. Want to make that number 11?
I'd say so.
Off the hands of Josh Davis.
I'd say so.
And Leftwich continues to go back to the people who make the drops. Watts, Marriott, and Davis.
Well,
who else are you going to throw to?
It's everybody. Yeah, it's everybody.
The only benefit there is it stops the clock. Leftwich's numbers, 34 of 56. But factor in 11 drops, his completion percentage is much better. Tries to take off up the middle himself, and he's taken down at the 11. Demain Duckett made the stop.
The idea was correct. The idea is correct because he's got everybody spread out. He's got the 5 wide receivers. He can get in there. If he gets past Duckett, it is a touchdown. He's not quite as nimble as Gerard. And the result is he's able to make the tackle.
3rd down and goal. They have 2 timeouts remaining.
Take a look at the middle. If he gets past this one guy, look at that. It's a touchdown. But instead he can't. Duckett with a big play.
Here's Leftwich, all sorts of time. There in the end zone, and his receiver slipped down. Curtis Jones. Now, Todd, you need 2 scores. Is there any question here?
Well, with they have 2 timeouts remaining. And so, no, they're going to kick a field goal. You're absolutely right. Good call.
Got to have the 2 scores anyway.
Take a look right here. Take a look at the bag. Take a look right here. He throws this on timing. Take a look at the 2. He really wants it. Look at the back right here. Nobody here. Nobody here. That would have been easy first down. That's easy for me to second guess up here.
Curtis Head, his first field goal attempt of the game will be from 27. He's missed just once this season. That was from 32. And Head connects. 1:53 to play.
Now, the question that I was saying when I mentioned the 2 timeouts is if they had enough time to stop them defensively. But obviously, they've given up 51 points. They're not going to stop them defensively. So I think it's a no-brainer here that coming back after this break, we are going to have an onside kick. 51-45 with 1:53 remaining in the 4th quarter. And of course, if indeed they had been stifling on defense, maybe you can consider the idea of going with kicking off deep and holding them and calling your timeouts, but I don't think so. I think that right here you have to have your hands people. There are 10 people up, and they are going to line up. And of course, they set the thing right away, the tee, leaning in that direction. Now, I guess the question here, Steve, would be, are you going to get the pop-up? Are they going to go with the one bounce? And they have their hands people out there, people like Alston and Henry, all their good players. So here it comes.
Curtis Head, likely with the ball game and the balance. Ground ball. And there's the flag. It was recovered by John Williamson of East Carolina, the linebacker, and it did not appear to go 10 yards.
Well, it doesn't matter. They're going to recover that, and that was a poor onside kick. And I say that not to be critical, but simply the fact that as a kicker you get to practice it over and over and over again, and it comes right down the middle to number 30. Now East Carolina will have the opportunity, assuming they don't turn the ball over, to run out the clock.
Coming up next, this game has gone so long, forget about the NFL's greatest moments. We've moved on to NBA Tonight. Jason Jackson and Fred Carter are standing by. Todd, you would have been on that. Maybe you'll be on the NBA Tonight.
I was waiting for you to say it was late night sermonette. That's what was coming up next.
No gain on the handoff and the clock moving.
Or the test patterns. Now, after second and third down is when I guess they're going to use their timeouts. I was surprised they didn't use it here.
Yeah.
But you know, in a strange game like this, Steve, you can't just assume what's going to happen. You might as well use it because you never know. I mean, if ever there was a game that was planned for another miracle to Meadowlands, this would be it. 38-8. Who knew, right?
Got the play clock down to 6 to get it off. And perfect. Snap it with 2. Handoff, right side. It's Henry grinding it out, and now they'll take a timeout. 1:04 left. Timeout for Marshall. They'll have one more.
Steve, we talked about how they wanted to ride Henry's back. I mentioned that the most carries that he had all year was 26. Now he's over that. That's the most he's had all year in this game.
We'll step out. 64 ticks remain. 6-point game.
EC, college football lives here.
Ranked teams have gone down to defeat in the first 2 bowl games here in Mobile. We'll see if it's third time. The 25th ranked Marshall trailing by 6. Yates will make the stop on Garrard, and Marshall will be charged their final timeout with 57 seconds remaining on the clock. And it'll be a 4th down situation when we come back to Mobile.
State Farm Friday on ESPN.
Back in Mobile, it's 4th down and 8. Jared Preston is on to punt. At least it appeared he was on the punt. Now they're just going to huddle on the field.
Well, the huddle is very simple, and that is protect the punter. You know, I mean, if he just hammers it in the end zone, that's fine. You know, don't try and angle it out. Don't try and be cute. You just don't want to give them an opportunity to get a chance at a block punt. So even though Preston might not like it, the idea here is, look, take 2 steps, just get the thing off. Don't worry about it. And if for whatever reason they can drive 80 yards, big deal.
NBA Tonight is coming up next. Jay Jackson, Mad Dog, they're standing by, and we will see you over on ESPN News for post-game coverage of this one. Josh Davis is back at his 10. Jared Preston is set to punt. And Marshall's going to bring everybody but Davis. Bit of a high snap. And Preston does a nice job to get it out of there and bang it out of the end zone. Exactly. He's the best play of the game right there. 50 seconds left. Marshall will take over. 1st and 10 from their 20 with no timeouts remaining. But again, 1st down stops the clock.
And the game isn't over, just as you pointed out, Steve, because of that collegiate rule, the 1st downs and the way they're used to hustling up and the short corners that have been so effective. But the one thing that can't happen for Leftwich here is people can't be dropping the balls. Up to this point, Steve, 34 for 57, 455 yards, but 11 drops.
3 receivers to his right. And here's Byron Leftwich. Good protection. Throwing. And can't connect with Pinero Marriott.
That's what we've been talking about, Steve. The short corner is there. Come back and do it again.
44 seconds left on the clock.
Now it brings up the question with regards to Tim Rose here is whether or not he's going to blitz or he's going to stay with his 3-man rush. If I'm him, I stay with the 3-man rush and make this guy beat me with a long pass.
Marshall, the number 3 passing offense, total offense team in the nation. And they need some of that offense, and they need it now. No timeouts remaining. 2nd and 10 from their own 20. Here's Leftwich. It's Carolina rushing 3, and that's why Leftwich has time for lunch. And he just airs it out down the sideline. No white jersey even close to it. 36 seconds left. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 10.
Now, even though he doesn't like it, he might have to think about throwing the ball over the middle of the field to get the first down. Obviously, you want to throw to the side because you can get guys out of bounds and stop the clock. But he doesn't want to put himself in a situation of 4th and 10. He really needs the first here, and then he can sprint up and spike the ball.
Again, this is just bowl number 2 out of 25. It's a great time of year in college football.
Sure is.
On 3rd and 10 now. Leftwich will throw. He's got the man, and he's got the first down. Goes back to Marriott, other side of the field. Gain of 19. Clock stop with 30 seconds left.
Steve, ultimately with 30 seconds remaining, one of the things right now that Leftwich may be looking back at is that first short corner that they didn't get, because time now is an issue with 30 seconds as opposed to 50 and 60 yards to go.
Trailing by 6. Field goal won't help him now. Leftwich has a seam across the middle and able to complete. Curtis Jones.
Now they've got to sprint up and spike it. They've got to sprint up and spike it as soon as he gets it, and they'll have about 23 or 22 seconds remaining on the clock.
It's a gain of 26. Still at 24 on the clock. And I think just a second comes off the clock. They never got to wind it. They spike the ball.
But that's heads up on the part of Leftwich to do that. Absolutely. Now he can get together, get it from the sidelines. In East Carolina, Tim Rose, boy oh boy. He knows that they've got to be intense. They got to hang in there. Can't take it for granted.
Leftwich, 501 yards passing tonight. 23 ticks remain. This is 2nd and 10 at the 33 of East Carolina. Leftwich throwing and completing. It's Marriott down to the 10.
Unbelievable.
16 seconds left.
Unbelievable.
Trying to rally the team. Gain of 19 on the play.
They're huddled together, and once again, only a second or two is going to bleed off from it.
And that time, not even a second went off the clock. It was stuck on 16, and that's where it is right now.
Now, Steve, depending upon how they do this here at the end, we're looking at possibly 3 plays. Possibly 3 plays. And Tim Rose might want to be thinking here, he's run out of real estate. Somebody's got to get in Leftwich's face.
East Carolina has the timeout. Does that benefit the defense here in any way? In terms of personnel, getting a breather for some of your better defensive players.
You think about that, but the problem is, Steve, is that if you do that, that gives Leftwich time to recover and go over and visit about a number of plays. You want to put pressure on the young man. But but then again, I'm saying to myself, they've been doing everything.
We need the clock. My apologies. We'll put the clock at 16 seconds.
16 seconds, a very polite referee.
And you hear the crowd booing, but I'm telling you, Steve, this is a big deal. Every second seems to mean something here in this game.
6-point game, 16 seconds left. Leftwich, 1st and goal from the 10. Quick corner to the end zone, it is. Oh my gosh, he got it! Darius Watts went up for the touchdown.
He got it!
And it's a tie game. With 7 seconds left, we are tied at 51.
Steve, he threw that before. He threw it before he was even in the end zone. What a timing throw by Leftwich. I can't believe what I just saw.
And for all the drops, 11 of them tonight from Marshall, Darius Watts hangs on to the most important one. His 2nd touchdown of the game. Here's the extra point from Curtis Head to put Marshall in front.
He missed it! He missed it!
What else can happen?
Oh, man.
Curtis Head, 51 of 57 on extra points during the regular season, just 2 shy of the MAC record, and he missed it.
Now, Steve, isn't that bizarre? I was just about to point out that he'd only missed 1 field goal. He missed 6 extra points. What a throw by Leftwich. Snap, 1 step, throw it up. Look at that. Watts doesn't even come close to looking. Throws it over the top. Watts comes over the top. This is poor coverage. Poor coverage by the defender. But boy, what a great throw. And Leftwich has every reason to be excited. Kelly Hardy is the defensive back, and here's the reaction of the coaches. Yeah, the touchdown's great, but take a look at the reaction now at the extra point. Just awful. He just pushed it right. He missed it. Oh, man. What a game.
7 seconds left. 7 seconds left in regulation time.
Well, the ball is gone right there. The ball is gone. And you can see Hardy does not get around in time. What a great catch. Gets both feet down. After all the struggles that the receivers have had, Steve, you called it. What a great catch in getting his feet down for the score.
Marshall has come all the way back. And now it's really on Marshall. They are an extra point away from winning the game. Head can't connect. And we are staring overtime in the face. Head will kick the ground ball on the kickoff. And East Carolina will just go down to the turf with, let's see, 4 seconds left. And again, we are a play away, likely from overtime. And you look at the overtime rules. Overtime is outstanding in college football. We can shut off the game clock.
I like the teams must go for 2-point conversions starting with a third OT. Now think about this, Steve. 51 to 51.
Yeah.
If we get a situation like the game, what was it, Mississippi and Arkansas?
7 overtimes.
7 overtimes. Then the final score would be, it would be 49 and 49. It would be 100 to 100.
I'm not sure the scoreboard is built for that.
Wow.
Triple digits on the east side.
Wow.
Hey, folks, welcome back. Those of you who are watching at halftime when it was a 30-point game.
You're the overtime guy in hockey. Now you're the overtime guy in football. I can't believe it.
This is not the replay. Overtime is next. We're having so much fun here in Mobile, Alabama. We decided to stick around a little longer. The GMAC ball is going OT. You can turn off the scoreboard clock, the play clock, the only thing that will count now. And we will have the coin toss upcoming for you. Coin toss, you know, you say it's not so pivotal because each team gets at least one crack with the football. Even in the NFL, it doesn't appear to be that pivotal. Even if you lose the toss, it's about 50-50 in terms of winning the football game.
But, of course, you do want to go on defense. You know, you want to put the pressure on the other guy, maybe kick the field goal or even, you know, get a turnover. That's what you want to do, given the circumstance.
So what do you like here, heads or tails, John?
They send you out here by yourself?
Yeah, you know what?
Gentlemen,
I realize that the coaches don't feel that way because this is bizarre, but boy, they just haven't been cheated tonight.
Eagles, tails. 7, give me your call. Tails is the call. It's come up heads. East Carolina, your options are to go on offense, defense, or which end of the field? Defense. You choose defense. Which end will we play? This one. All right, spin around over here on defense.
Now, see, the thought process there, I thought it was interesting. If we win the toss, go defense. But he didn't give me anything to say about when they lost the toss, right?
The score by quarters. You want to talk about a wild scoring scenario. Marshall outscoring East Carolina 43-13 in the second half. That's if they were blown out in the first half, trailing by 30 at the break. Now, there's a wild sequence for Marshall. When you think about it, some 80 yards in 43 seconds, no timeouts. They get an unbelievable touchdown play and then miss the extra point, which would have won it.
It's an interesting psychology heading into the overtime for that very reason. I'm glad you pointed that out. You're saying to yourself, who has the advantage? Well, in theory, you would think offensively, because of the way they rush down the field, that Marshall would. But I have to think that they have to be a little bit deflated with that missed extra point. And so I'm going to go out on a limb here just a little bit and say that I think East Carolina has just a slight advantage here in the overtime.
Yeah, I mean, the East Carolina psyche, right? They had to figure when Head comes out on the field for the extra point, they had to figure, we've blown it. One of the great collapses in recent college football memory. And here they are given a second life, or third, or fourth, or fifth.
And Steve Logan was absolutely implacable. I don't know if you're paying close attention at home, but I thought it was interesting that when the guy scored the touchdown, you saw his face, and when the extra point was missed, no change of expression.
All right, here we go. One of the great systems in all of sports, college football overtime. Each team gets at least one crack from the opponent's 25. Scoreboard clock, might as well turn it off. And a drop. Interesting the way they would start the overtime. Josh Davis could not hang on. We'll call that number 12. 12 drop passes on Leftwich tonight. Todd, what's an acceptable number? Offensive coordinator or quarterback, in terms of drops, you have to expect mistakes, especially at the college football level. I mean, obviously it's not 12, but is 3 or 4 acceptable?
No, considerably less than half a dozen. That's what I was going to say, more like 3 or 4. But boy, and think about, you just saw that he had a career high 536 yards. How many yards would he have without the drops?
Second down and 10 now. Leftwich will step up under center. And that pass is blocked and nearly intercepted. Chris Howell, the nose guard, went up to bat that one down. And this will bring up a third down and 10.
But again, this is what we were talking about. There is a little bit of renewed life there for the Pirates. And you can't help but think that after all the shots that Leftwich has taken, of course I keep saying that, and he keeps coming back. I mean, he's like, you know, he's the veritable phoenix as a quarterback. He keeps getting up and rising from the ashes and making plays.
The junior has said he's coming back next season. No matter what, he said this time of year next year, worry about the NFL. Here's third down and 10.
They're blitzing.
Leftwich across the middle. It is caught to Darius Watts. Gain of 12 on the play.
I just don't understand why you want to blitz that guy. The guy is just killing you with man-for-man coverage. Here they come with a blitz. They come with 5. Stands in, man coverage. Watts is too much for the corner. He takes a shot, but it's a first down for the Thundering Herd.
Fresh set of downs. We'll try the running game. Inside handoff to Franklin Wallace. And he's down to the 5. Howell brought him down after the gain of 6.
Obviously, Leftwich has been very effective, but I'm surprised, Franklin, that Wallace hasn't been used a little bit more.
The NBA tonight is coming up, unless we go much longer into the night, and then we'll move on to the next program. We've already blown off one show. Let's see. We can go for 2. Second down and 3. Handoff. Again, it's Wallace. He bangs down close to the goal line, down about the 2-yard line now.
Well, he's going to get the first down. One of the things that's important for East Carolina on the sidelines now is that offensive people have to be on their toes and get themselves ready. They can't afford to be spectators and just watching what's going on the field, because they're going to be on it a little bit and they can't afford to be flat.
Marcus Hairston checks into the game.
Well, that's their second tight end, Steve. Obviously, they're in a running set.
This is first down and goal from the 2. Wallace in. Touchdown. Put 6 on the board. Marshall strikes first in overtime.
Steve, one thing that I've noticed here, and I'm sure you noticed the same thing. Remember, we were talking about how Marshall had been struggling on third downs in the fourth quarter. I don't know what the conversion rate was, but it must be amazing. And that conversion on the 3rd and 10 was absolutely huge. That's what predicated the score by Wallace.
Todd Curtis' head comes on to try the extra point. Likely could have ended this one earlier, and he just gets that one through. I don't know if it was partially tipped or not. Just got that extra point through, and in fact, it was just tipped. And so that makes it a 58-51 game in East Carolina. Look at their crack.
Nice vertical on the part of Wallace, but then again, good blocking at the point of attack as well. Steve, what I had mentioned about the third down conversions, remember at one point, they were 3 of 9. They were 3 of 9 on the third down conversions. Since that time, they've been 9 out of 10 on third down. And don't forget, a couple of those are like 3rd and 19, 3rd and 16.
So here now, East Carolina. Marshall picking a pretty good time to take their first lead of the game in overtime. Here's Garrard handing it off. Leonard Henry down to the 5, touchdown. No problem at all.
Listen,
25 yards for Leonard Henry. And Marshall offense better get ready to get back on the field.
Well, I tell you what, We talked about how the offense needed to be on top of their toes. The defense for Marshall clearly wasn't. Remember, this is the same play, Steve, where he had the long touchdown run. It appears that it's going to be the option. Instead, he hands to Henry underneath, just walks through and goes in completely untouched.
Let's not lose sight of this extra point.
Yep.
Kevin Miller misses. This ball game's over. 38 of 40 extra points during the regular season. And Miller is true. And we are headed for double overtime. This has Penguins Flyers written all over it. Double overtime when we come back to GMAC ball.
Getting ready for their overtime, Mobile, Alabama. An incredible game between East Carolina and Marshall. Live with Coach Bob Pruitt. You said at halftime to your guys, do not give up on me. Did you ever think you'd come all the way back and force 2 OTs here?
Well, you know, you never say never, and we're excited about it. It's a shame one of these teams are going to end up not winning. I just hope it's not us.
What are you telling your offense right now?
We just got to score and keep them from scoring.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You know what? Could you go back with me on that? That was a little complex what he just said. A little too intricate. Now, did he say we got to?
Are you going to mess with a head coach's team who just outscored East Carolina 43-13 in the second half alone?
Now, I thought it was interesting in the course of see, that's a different man than the one that just talked to Dave Ryan. He went over and had a different thing to say. However, having said that, I thought it was interesting, classy on the part of Coach Pruitt to not even bring up the missed extra point. Now, as a result of the flip, you're asking yourself, what's the deal? Well, they go back on offense as a result of winning the flip.
Down at the same end of the field. Handoff for Leonard Henry. Not much doing that time. They'll give him one on the forward progress. We're going to bring up a 2nd down and 9. We are in the second overtime. The GMAC Bowl. We might be on ESPN Classic sooner than you think. This has been a wild game.
More than 1,100 yards and 116 points. Wow.
We thought we were kidding when we promised you a lot of offense tonight. We've had some defensive touchdowns as well for them tonight. Here's Garrard. Rolling to his right under some pressure from the backside. And he will throw and complete to Torrey Morris. He's down to the 20-yard line. They'll give him 4 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Garrard does a nice job of feeling from the backside. It appeared that just for a second there he was going to get sacked, but he continues to roll to his right and buys time until Torrey can get open and get him the ball. I'm sorry, I called him by his first name. My son's name is Torrey. I just wanted to understand. Yep. Okay.
NBA Tonight is coming up next still. When next is, we can't be sure. We're told it's coming up. 3rd down and 5 now. Garrard, the straight drop. Now rolling to his right. Directing traffic, and he'll cut it back to the left.
He needs to get rid of it, Steve.
And he gets rid of it, and more than get rid of it, and nearly caught for a touchdown. And there is a flag down. Looked like it went off Henry's hands. Roberto Terrell was out there in the coverage, and he might have gotten the piece and knocked it away.
The reason I was saying he needed to get away from it, throw it, Steve, was because it appeared
offensive pass interference.
Now here's the question. Do you want to take it and give Garrard another shot and push him back out of field goal range? I'm guessing that they probably will take it and push them back to the 30. I would think they want to take this penalty.
Make it, yeah.
Interference, offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Which shows why I'm up here, obviously. Well, of course, now they're going to kick the field goal, and I guess that just goes to show the confidence that they have in their offense, not so much their defense, is to say we can score a touchdown, we'll force them just to kick the field goal.
This will be from 40 yards away. Well, let's see.
It's going to be, Steve, it's going to be around 37, 38 yards.
Miller's long this season is 43. He does have a 52-yard field goal in his college career. It will be 37, Tom.
Steve, this year he has been perfect inside of 40. 12 for 12 coming into this game.
3 for 3 tonight. Snap, place is good, and the field goal is up.
Whoa.
And it is good. It just got through. Kevin Miller connects from 37, and he's given East Carolina a 3-point lead.
That one falls under the heading of knuckleball. Phil Negro would have been proud of that one. I'm sorry, that dates. Tim Wakefield would have been proud of that. Dennis Springer would have been proud of it.
Steve Sparks.
Steve, thank you.
I'm out of knuckleballers now. There is Miller.
You can see the reaction of Coach Pruitt. He knew that was kind of off. It was kind of a funny kick, but he said, what the heck. We'll just have to come down here and see if we can score a touchdown.
That's a chip shot for the former East Carolina member of the golf team, Kevin Miller. And loading it up one more time. Will East Carolina have to score again? See what Marshall will do. 1st and 10 now. The 25. Trailing by 3. Leftwich. His arm's got to be tired. Throwing. Got him in at the 5. And it's Denero Marriott. And Marriott was more bumped down than he was tackled. That was nearly ball game.
Steve, all night long when they rush 3 and they have the 2 deep zone, the short corner has been there over and over again, and Leftwich has been able to deliver it on the money.
This is 1st and goal. They won't need to kick an extra point if they get in the end zone. Here's Franklin Wallace. Forget about the end zone. That's a loss on the play. Loss of 2.
Bad decision by Wallace. You got to stay, as they say, with your friends. The play was designed to go between the tackles. Once he came outside, he was by himself, and the pursuit caught up to Heath now with his 8th tackle of the game.
2nd down and goal. Ball at the 6.5.
And what that loss does, Steve, now is it takes away a little bit the idea if he was at the 2 or 3, they could still run the ball. Here, I'm guessing that they're going to have to throw.
3 receivers to his right. Byron Leftwich. Leftwich is going to his left. Hard to bring down, not that hard. There's another loss of 2 on the play, and that pushes him back to the 8-yard line.
Very surprised at that because, as I say, once you're outside the 5-yard line, don't want to be in a 3rd down conversion situation. You want to get it up top and throw it into the end zone. We know that he scored once on that play going to his left, but his forte obviously is throwing the ball. Give credit to the Pirates for excellent pursuit.
3rd and goal. Curtis Head, the kicker, who might be called on to try and tie this game, has struggled with his last couple of extra points. Missing one and just nailing another one. So here's 3rd and goal now from the 8.
The blitz.
Leftwich steps up and throws, and it is caught. There is a flag down. Josh Davis has it for the touchdown of the end zone. There is a flag down. And
Defensive holding.
It's against East Carolina, and Marshall wins. Davis, Watts, and Marriott have had problems with drops all night, but when it's counted most, Watts, the tying touchdown catch, and Davis in overtime able to hang on. No extra point is necessary.
Steve, you and I have done a lot of games, and I'm not going to get into 64-61 and all that other stuff right now. But the one thing I got to tell you is that if ever we have had a game where a young man lived up to the hype, it was this one in terms of Byron Leftwich. That young man was outstanding.
He's coming back for his senior season at Marshall.
And here he is throwing that dart. Look at that throw. And really, that was a tough catch in the hands by Davis. That's got to be an excited young man. But again, the guy that deserves all the kudos is number 7. Playing through the hits, playing through everything else. Steve, 41 for 70, 577 yards and 4 touchdowns. Unbelievable.
This has been a presentation of ESPN2.